Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, if you're watching this later. Welcome to a little episode that I'm going to do with my sister. We decided to call it Ventriloquism in the Alter Ego because my sister is a ventriloquist. And I was talking about this on Rigel's live stream, which she watched and later said she had many thoughts about this. And since she's the ventriloquist and she's the one with the I think she has a healthy alter ego, I thought it would be fun to hear her thoughts on it. So before we dive right in, Tracy, I thought it would be nice if you could tell the audience how you got into ventriloquism.
Ooh, I'd love to. Hello. Thank you for welcoming me to your stream yard. I like your yard. It's just good to be here. And it's kind of an interesting new way. Like I've been doing Zoom over the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Not the kind of streaming and stuff like that you've been doing. So I find it really interesting.
Well, just to say, I love live streaming because it's in real time, and anybody who's watching, is able to participate directly. Mm-hmm. They can comment and maybe depending on time and stuff, how it goes, we could drop a link and they can come in and share their thoughts and whatever it is.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you guys do, whatever.
Yeah.
Floats the boats. But
how did you get started with ventriloquism?
Well, with ventriloquism. So I'm just going to back up to when I was watching you guys chat about that. And first of all, I thought it was fun watching Nigel's channel. I'd never seen it before.
Rigel,
sorry, Rigel. And then when you guys started talking about that, all these ideas came up, But it was fun watching you guys chat and seeing Paul pop up again, and I was with you guys at the Eastuary. Thank you, and just inspired always by all the different points of view and different people from all walks of life. So listening to that chat, Matt with the top hat was talking about a few things too. And so I was inspired. My journey into ventriloquism probably started when I was a kid, as you know, because I was your little sister. And we had so many adventures all together. You were always the bookworm and the academic. And I needed to find ways to get your attention. So I had antics. And one thing that we both had in common was our humor and our family. Actually, that was one of our things. I remember a good memory about sitting around the table and just a lot of laughter. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I always had an interest in the puppets and stuff like that. And I remember like not just not doing well in school, but actually having terrible experiences in school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really bad for me. Like it was brutal. We moved a lot, right? So yeah. You were there too. But you didn't seem to have that problem with the academics that I did. And I remember one time we were in I think it was grade 5, and we had to do this role play thing. And I never really had too many friends, and I just wasn't into it at all. School was not good for me. I wasn't good at reading, writing. I wasn't good at math. But we got into this role play, and I remember playing a character in this role play with the kids, and they all started laughing. And there was something in me that just went, well, this is something I can do, Yeah. I can make them laugh. And it's like it gave me some identity, because everything else I was looking at around me, I couldn't measure up as far as I felt. I couldn't measure up.
Right.
So that was always part of my my thing is I love to make people laugh because I was actually good at it.
Yeah.
And I loved impersonating, and I loved making voices and different kind of faces and stuff. And the Muppet Show and Sesame Street was always like,
Yeah.
I loved the humor, and my family loved the humor. And my dad loved the humor and watching us be
Watching you.
laugh, watching me be silly about it. So
he loved it when you made him laugh.
yeah.
He still does.
Yeah, he does. And that was our connection for sure, was making my dad laugh. I couldn't impress him by anything else. I just wasn't good at anything else. Anyway. So we'll fast forward to Victoria, British Columbia. So I'm from here. I'm living here. This is my home. Been here for in the Chilcotin for 41 years, and we have we're like Shari. We live remotely, a little bit more remote. We're about 200 kilometers from Shari, which is, I don't know how many miles. I'm not doing the math. I'm not good at it.
Don't do it.
Yeah. And
I'll just laugh at you.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't know anyway. I wouldn't know anyway.
And but we kind of I ended up in Victoria because we hit a rough patch. I know it's shocking in marriage, you can hit a rough patch. So we hit a pretty rough patch. It was rough. And we've lived here for 40 years now, and endured a lot. But at the year 20 mark, we hit a rough patch. We ended up going to Victoria. And when I was there, I knew I needed to have this moment for myself and my family, actually, to regroup. But I needed some money. And I remember talking to you and saying, I'm just not sure what to do, because I've been cleaning room for $8 an hour. I have to work weekends. I can't pick up the kids from school. And I wasn't really qualified for anything formally. So you said to me, well, why don't you do something with your ventriloquism? Now, in years past, I've been a singer. We've had a band. I've been a songwriter. I've been a ventriloquist. We've done all kinds of different things like that from here. But I'd never kind of I felt like, well, that was too you had to be legit, And you were like, no, you are legit. You're professional. You've been paid to do it. So why don't you try it? So I just felt like, well, this is something I've been doing just now and again, once in a while for the kids and stuff like that. So anyway, I thought about it, and I had been working for an organization it was a catering service that also did entertainment stuff in Victoria. And this was cool because I thought, okay, I got to find out. So when I wasn't cleaning rooms, I went there and I would work just sometimes they'd have, an orthodontist convention and all the children would come. And so I would just go with them and take them whale watching and stuff like that. But they did have entertainers on this list. So I went and I asked them for the list, and I got it. And I came home and I looked at the list and I thought, I need to know, where do I start with this ventriloquism? How do you get going? So what's the rates? How does this work? So I looked through and I couldn't find anything on the list. There was jugglers and, people who did magic, and there was, trios. But I found one. It said Laugh with Liz. And it was a lady who was an impersonator of the Queen. But she was a comic, but I didn't know that. It just said Laugh with Liz, and there was her phone number, because back in the day you had to pick up a phone.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I picked up the phone and I phoned her. And I'm in Victoria now for about, I don't know, must have been at least 4 months. And I didn't find it too warm. I'm from a really small community, so it was really just a big adjustment. So I was just getting ready to start going down the list. So I'm going to start with this lady. So I pick up the phone and I say, hello. And she said, hello. And I thought, oh, she's not an answering machine. That's a good start. I said, hi, is Liz there? And she said, well, my name is Carolyn, but my stage name is Liz. And yes, I'm here. And I said, okay, well, my name is Tracy. I'm from a small community in the interior, British Columbia. And I'm here for a little while, and I'm a ventriloquist, and I'm thinking about going in to it and maybe becoming professional in this region. I just needed to know more about what you do, what you would suggest, what's a good start. I just came in hard.
Yeah.
He says, oh, okay. So where are you from? And I said, oh, it's north of here. And she said, oh, really? So how far north? I said, oh, it's west out, it's out west. And she said, oh, what's it called? And I thought, lady, you won't know it. You won't, no one knows it. So I told her what it was called. And she said, well, I've been there. Said, my husband's an anthropologist and worked on the case for the land title case. And I'm also an artist, and I did the art for the case and listened to the elders describing. And I'm like,
crazy.
Okay. So that's the world I love to live in.
Right.
So for me, unless I get a sign and I hear something and it's miraculous, I'm not quite sure I should move forward, because I've never trusted myself for really good reasons. Ask my brothers. Don't trust me. So, because I love scaring them when they were small. I don't know what it was. I still love scaring people. I scare my husband all the time. But anyway, so I was like, are you kidding me? And she goes, I would love to meet you, and I'd love to have you for tea. And I said, okay, great. What's your schedule? And she said, how about now?
Wow.
Said, okay, so first of all, that doesn't happen in Victoria.
Yeah.
So that started me on a really interesting journey. I went there and I met her, and she's an amazing person. She's also a tango dancer, and anyways, she's just an amazing person.
Wait, before you go any further, I wanted to hear about how you used to throw your voice in the grocery store to get your kids under control. That's what, when I said, how did it start for you? That's what I was thinking.
Then. Okay, well, that's back before Victoria.
But just give us.
Well, I actually, that was one part of the gag. Whenever I introduced myself, I always said that when I was in the grocery store, I started ventriloquism when my kids were small, and I would look at them and say, because they were like, "Mommy, I want this. Mommy, I want that," and I would be like, "Oh," and feeling embarrassed, and then I'd say, "Put it down, or I'm going to lock you in the car, and you're not going to be able to eat for 1 month." Who said that? So anyways, that's what you're talking about.
That's what I thought. That's the best.
You're like,
every parent needs to learn how to do
that. Exactly. Yeah. And then, so back, actually, when I was pregnant for my oldest daughter, I took a course, and it was around teaching methods with children. It had to do with kids.
Right.
And the guy who taught it was a ventriloquist, and he had the wooden dummy. And I always was fascinated, of course, like a lot of people. I just loved it. So he had a suitcase full of puppets, and he said, if you guys want to try this, it's kind of a technique you can use to use puppets, grab a puppet. So I grabbed a bird, because I love the illusion of a talking bird. And I took it home and I started doing it. And my husband was like, come here. He dragged me to the mirror and he's like, you're doing it. And I was like, I am. And so I was throwing my voice, and we used to play Barbies, right? When we were kids. Right. It's just, to me, it's the same. It was like, like, it's just that whole thing that your imagination.
Right.
So when that happened, I actually thought, well, then if I'm doing it, then I can do it.
Right.
And it's so fun to watch. So I would take a puppet, and when the kids would have a birthday party, or our community here has a lot of big community events, I do the ventriloquism. I do songs and stuff like that. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So
wait, I just wanted to say, you and I used to dress up as clowns and do kids' birthday parties. I don't remember actually doing anything. I think I just looked like a clown. You were doing everything, because I'm like the worst actor ever. I just never know what to say. So, But yeah, we used to do that like for money. We used to dress
Yeah.
up as clowns and yeah.
Antics.
Yeah,
It was always about antics. I loved antics. And I remember every Christmas we used to do a play. We'd pick a song. And remember we did Good King Wenceslas one time.
I was the king.
You were.
To be clear.
But we started out in the basement with our record player lip syncing and singing to Michael Jackson. I mean, it just was
when Michael Jackson was a boy. I mean, a little boy. He was always a boy, but I mean,
we were little then too. But yeah. So anyway, that is true. Like way back, that's kind of how I started. And I didn't practice. And then one time, my good friend, I watched her kids, and she said, I wasn't sure what to give you for watching the kids. So she bought me a book. And this is after I've been doing it for about 5 years. And it was called Ventriloquism for the Total Dummy. And it had a little sock puppet in it. And I learned something from that little book.
Yeah.
And I learned more, a little bit more. So I was able to do it. It was fun. And everyone always loves it. Adults and children alike love it.
They love it.
So when I was there in Victoria, going through a hell of a time in my life, I had this opportunity to do this. And I think I really needed that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I, there's healing in expression.
Yeah.
So I had an opportunity to do something. And that was something that actually Rigel brought up. He was talking about, the acting like, that came up. Yeah, I can't remember if that was Matt or Rigel. I think it was, but having like ventriloquism as therapy. And I thought, it was for me. It was therapy for me.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're familiar with it. You might have run across it in your job because your job is about therapies, different kinds of therapies. But there's a therapy called internal family systems. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Okay, so we were kind of comparing, the ability to partition your personalities off in the therapy, right? And how that would be any different than ventriloquism, for example, or even acting, where you have to be a different character. And how we, in my opinion, we all have that ability to do that. We all have many characters. Like one time I wrote it as a poem, my resume. And for each thing that I wrote, like I wrote wife, mother, and I prioritized. So the top of the list was the most important things for me on my resume. And then it went to horticulturalist, horse trainer, I don't know, all the things, spinner, shepherdess, I don't just, all the things, right, Trace? There's lots of them. And I thought as I was writing it, I thought, man, I'm not only able to do these things, but I'm also these things. I'm a different person every time I'm doing these different things, which is it's always really fascinating to me. But anyway, go on.
Well, and that's part of it, right? It's similar. And there is healing in expression, no matter what the expression, and playing a role. And it's true. Like it's interesting because you said something to Matt about, I was listening and I wasn't paying attention to, but one of those guys was talking about how it was like like acting. And I thought, you know what, that's exactly right. And that's why when someone says, can you do something for me? I'm like, hold it. So just so you know, I'm not a ventriloquist. I'm an actor. I'm an actor that acts like a ventriloquist.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that's why when someone just says, oh, grab that and make it talk, or can you do what it's like, I can, but I have to get into character first.
Right.
And so it's hard for me to jump into character. Now I can force myself to, but there's an adjustment that has to happen. And so I I am an actor, and I'm acting like a ventriloquist.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then
So wait a minute.
Give myself permission. Sorry.
Wait, don't go too far away from that, because I want to know, is that character that you're jumping into to be the ventriloquist? Yeah, we do. We are many of them, like so many.
Mm-hmm.
Is that character always the same, or can that character change?
The ventriloquist character?
No, the actor who jumps into the role of ventriloquist.
Oh, no. Like I'm also a singer.
No, I'm saying when you're jumping into the role of ventriloquist, you said you're an actor who acts like a ventriloquist. So that actor is, so what you're saying, I'm just trying to figure it out for myself, because I'm a dumb blonde. is
not even
the actor is the you're taking on the ventriloquist's character. You're taking on the character of the ventriloquist.
Correct.
Or as the actor becoming the ventriloquist, are you taking on the context of whatever it is you're going to do with the puppet? Like, because sometimes it's not always the same puppet, right? So I'm wondering how many faces this actor who has to act like a ventriloquist has. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think I'd have to think about that a bit. Because maybe it's a no-brainer, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but when I get my guy, so whatever my puppet is, I actually feel engaged as well. I'm an onlooker. So this is what's interesting. And my kids always tease me because they're like, Mom, you know what scares me is sometimes I can see the look in your face that you were shocked that your puppet said that. I said, no, this is the thing. But that's the element of surprise that we're with comedy, right? You have to have that element of surprise. And what's great is I've never felt like I can be very funny, but there's no risk in me being a ventriloquist, because all the pressure's on the guy to be funny, not me.
Right.
So if the guy fails, then I'm off the hook, because it was not my fault. Like I'm the straight man. It's all up to that guy to make people laugh, right? And so essentially, it's like my childhood.
If he fails to make them laugh, then you can make fun of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I blame the audience. Not enough alcohol. That's usually my biggest thing. It was a
Dave's here, Trace. The role of a ventriloquist who knows too much. An intelligence agency is hot on her trail.
Oh, that's awesome, Dave. Thanks. Nice to see you. On your words. So anyway, so that's my thing. I met Carolyn. So I met Carolyn.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then I went to her house, and then she said, "Have I got it for you?" You know, like, so she's like, "I want you to meet my friend Winnie." And Winnie came over. Winnie's larger than life. She's an actress. She's a singer. She's the everything of everything. She's amazing. She's so inspiring. She's everything I've never been out loud and want to be. And then she was just like, "You need to come with me to the." But Carolyn, what's interesting about the Magic Circle piece is Carolyn, it was a comedian, a visual artist, and a tango dancer. But in her comedian stuff, as Queen Elizabeth, she also did magic, which was part of the gag, right? Because here's this queen, and she looked just like the queen. If you guys want to Google her, she's Carolyn Sadowska. And anyways, I think she retired since the queen passed. But
Carolyn Sadowska. I'm going to put her name in the chat. Carolyn, is it?
It's Sadowska. I don't know. I think it's just Carolyn. And Laugh with Liz. She was impersonator. You'll get an image for sure. Anyway, she did magic. And so she was a part of the magic circle because she learned magic. And the magic circle was a group of people in Victoria that were all in the illusion arts. And what I didn't know, because I don't read, was that ventriloquism was part of the illusion arts. So when I got in there, I realized, well, that's exactly right. That's why everyone loves it. And that's why I love it, is because it's magic. Because I'm all about the mystical. I'm all about the unseen. I'm all about the supernatural. It's just something that's guided me all my life. And so I ended up becoming a member, or, well, I don't know if I was a member. I don't know if there was initiation. I didn't make it that far.
Well, they told you stuff. I remember I tried.
They brought me into the circle, and they were wonderful. There was amazing people there, and they were all adorable and so fun. And I couldn't get through a conversation without having a coin pulled out of my ear, a cigarette stashed behind my, they were just amazing. And so I ended up doing some shows with them, because they do they'd collaborate and do some kind of a thing where there's a number of them, and they'd invite me. So I was able to be backstage and see some of the inner workings of the magic stuff. So it was a real highlight for me, but it also got me through a really rough time. I was able to do that. Yeah. And then, so with the, I did comedy clubs. I did dinners. I did huge conferences of 300. My very first one was to do with the Land Management Bureau. My dad went to the conference, and I didn't even have a puppet. And he said, I want you to do a show for these people, 300 people. And the Honorable Rich Coleman, at that time, he was the minister of something, and he was going to be there. And I was like, Dad, like, I do birthday parties,
Lou.
Hi, Lou. Hi, Lou. And yes, I will do a show for you sometime. Anyway, so I went downtown and I picked out a puppet, and my dad bought it for me. And it's a cloth, like a Muppet puppet. And I went home and I wrote some stuff. But, my dad, my family, and my sister, especially you guys are my muse. So I get funny. Hi.
That's Michael.
Oh, Michael. I said to Shari, we're to be the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe if Michael shows up. And so as soon as I knew I had this gig to do, I got on the phone with you, and I was like, I need funny. Let's just start talking about stuff. So I remember sitting down with a pen and paper and just talking and getting silly about land management. I think they were talking about the new laws for arbitration, and I wrote a song called Everybody's Doing a Brand New Dance. Come on, baby, do the arbitration, or something like that. But my guy sang it, so it came off.
Come on, baby, do the arbitration. Okay, wait.
I did it. No, that was my first show. That was a big show. It wasn't the Delta Pacific. It might have been downtown, 300 people. And yeah, it's crazy.
Somehow when I watched Patch Adams, the movie, and all his antics, it reminded me of you. Like, I could, if you would have been a man, a doctor at that point,
which I can be.
I could see you doing the gynecological. Remember the gynecologist conference in Patch Adams? I could see you doing that totally, like just blowing people's minds.
I love that one. Yeah, So anyway, that was my thing.
Come on in. Come on in.
That was my therapy.
Tell me about the alter ego.
The alter ego.
Yeah, like, okay, so like hi Jeremy. As a ventriloquist, you're accessing a part of your personality that, like your kids said, shock you sometimes, literally. And I mean, we all have those moments, right, where we have a thought and we're like, where did that come from? Like, so we do have this, within us, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm just wondering, what kind of thoughts do you have, since you're accessing that in order to do ventriloquism? Like, you're accessing that in a way that most of us don't, right? It does surprise us, but you're actually, like, you have to find it, locate it, and then animate it, right? So what do you think's going on there?
Well, a lot. Let me tell you. A lot. Because, and the reason why I found out there was a heck of a lot was I had a car accident. I had a head injury. I got T-boned, and I got a really bad head injury. And I couldn't do it for the longest time. Actually, longest time as in weeks, because it happened when I was in Victoria. And so, who is that?
That's Dave. Tracy the maniacal puppet.
You betcha. Oh yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. And yeah, and so I ended up I got a gig and I needed the money, So I was like, okay, my husband said, what I did was in big letters on a card, I wrote down, like I go into I do gags, right? And you start off, okay, the toothbrush gag, right? So you'd have a little thing to say, or you go into the, whatever, like the whatever gag, the various gags I had. I used to be able to just flow with it, but I couldn't remember for the life of me.
Yeah.
And then also, what's funny is people are like, how do you throw your voice like that? I said, that's not the hardest part. The hardest part, believe it or not, is not throwing my voice. The hardest part is remembering to take a breath when my guy is not breathing, because I'm him. Right. So I do this gag where I say, he says, don't be putting words in my mouth, right? I don't need you to. And I say, oh, okay, fine. Well, then you can do it yourself. And then he says, fine. And I always have to do that, because when he says, okay, fine, then I say, fine. And then he tries to talk, but then I'm not giving him a voice, right? Because he can't. He can't say anything. I have to remember to breathe, because I'm him not talking or not having a voice.
Oh, you're actually inhabiting the puppet.
And then I'm like, oh, crap. Because I would run out of breath. And I'd be like, oh, no. And it would really be hard to coordinate it. And then I have a wand for one of my guys has a moving hand, and I'm moving his hand all the time. And that's the other part too, is sometimes I'm trying to engage, but I'm trying to keep him moving at the same time. Those are the things where I swear to God, ventriloquism saved my life, because I had to do these shows with a head injury. Yeah. And I honestly think that work healed my brain.
Probably accelerated the healing, for sure.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
But besides the head injury, like, so let's compare ventriloquism, alter ego of the puppet, and, the ventriloquist. The puppet is the ventriloquist's alter ego, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that you have more than one puppet. So you've got more than one alter ego. Like, you've got a child puppet too, right? Mm-hmm. It's a child.
Yeah.
And then you've got this like bombastic, egocentric, narcissist guy, right? Who's not even a woman, is a guy. Yeah. That's also your alter ego.
Yeah. Right? That's a real cool thing, actually.
Yeah. And so, like, in internal family systems, this is what they're doing too. They're digging around trying to find all these alter egos, right? I think it's a fool's errand, because I think for every situation you find yourself in, you got a new alter ego. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know much about that family system.
You don't have to know anything about it. I want to know from you what it feels like to suddenly have to become a child.
Yeah.
Suddenly have to become a bird. Suddenly have to become, a narcissistic.
Well, I'll tell you what it feels like. It's fun.
Okay.
For me, it's fun. And maybe that's because it has to be fun in order to matter. Because if I'm not having fun, then nobody's going to laugh.
Okay,
and,
so it matters.
So for me, it's fun, it's challenging. And
what does it feel like to inhabit it?
I think it just feels like I can go places I've never gone before. Like John said, my husband said one time, I can't believe you called that guy Chrome Dome. I said, I didn't. He did. There's the guy hosting this party and paying me $500, and I'm like, hey, Chromie, So it's kind of neat because you can say stuff like when Rich Coleman was there at that big thing. I don't know if anyone ever filmed it. I kind of wish I would have had. That was my first show. But my guy was my guy was trying to be impressed with, he was, well, first of all, he thinks he's the greatest person in the room, right? My guy. Yeah. So he doesn't really care whether or not there's a diplomat in the room.
Right.
I said, the Honorable Rich Coleman is here. And my guy looked around and then found him and said, hey, Richie baby. I couldn't get away with that, right?
No.
As a comedian, even, it would have been like, ooh. People would have been like, ugh.
Yeah.
But my guy did, right? Because it's a puppet.
Did they laugh?
Fun. Oh, everyone, the whole room just roared, and he laughed. Thank God he laughed.
Yeah.
Because when they don't laugh, then you have to not look at them for quite a while.
Especially when you have a land lease. And it's land management.
Yeah. He's like, we'll talk after. Yeah. No, so I guess for me it's fun. It's fun to be able to go out there and to do that. It's really fun to play with the where the line is too.
Right.
There's been times when my husband's like, I think you crossed the line. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. It's like, no, I think you did. So it's interesting because I want to take it to the very edge, enough to the edge where everyone's a little bit terrified. Yes, actually, Jeremy, I've thought about that. And I don't know much about the Jester, but I know there's a role, and I feel like that is the role. The Jester thing is to be a jester, right?
Well, let me say this about the Jester that's really interesting. So the Jester is kind of this neutral zone in the court of the king.
Okay, right.
And what he can do is he can make fun of the king, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But he also makes fun of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Pajot talks about it as the clown who goes around making fun of everybody, but then he slips on a banana and he falls too. Right. So, and that's kind of the punctuation on the fairness, because here's something really interesting about us humans. We want fair play.
Mm-hmm.
We're not happy if the thing, there you go. Jeremy says pressure release valve. Yeah. We're not happy if there's no fair play. So you can't just, make fun of one person incessantly and then walk out of the room, because now that's unfair, right? So you make fun of them, you draw attention to where they're failing, right? Or whatever. And then you make fun of yourself, and then it's fair. And then people can entertain all those ideas, even the king, because he can be laughed at, but then he can laugh at you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something like that.
Well, and that's
maybe I don't know what your situation was, but maybe that was where John thought you crossed the line, was when it didn't rebound like that. I don't know.
Well, and sometimes it doesn't. And it does feel like, oh crap, that was probably too far in that person. Maybe I didn't really make the groundwork first before I threw that out there or whatever. But it's very rare. It's actually very rare. And usually what my guy does is to get out of it is feigns responsibility.
Oh, interesting.
So says, oh, wow, maybe I crossed the line. And, oh no, is that guy looking over here right now?
Yeah.
And then he tries to suck up, say,
Shows
this has been a great venue, a great idea, buddy. I loved it. You know, sorry about the chrome dome thing. Sorry about that. You know, like, so I can recover. You know,
he can repent.
He gets a little bit of recovery there, and then everyone breathes, and it's like, okay, so, you know, because he's an idiot, but he's faking that he's sorry,
right? Which makes it funny. Yeah, he's
which
never
makes
sorry.
it funny because he really does think everything's about him all the time.
He does.
So well, with your question, I guess I need to hear from you. When you say alter ego,
mm-hmm.
what do you see in that? Because I think I need to hear what you see before I can respond.
Oh, well, you know, we say that we have the term alter ego, right? Which means mm-hmm. it's some ego that is, in my mind, it drums up like an opposite ego to ourselves. Like, you know, say we go out to the world and we appear friendly, kind, loving, patient, all those things, but the alter ego is the opposite of all those things. And so it's always shocking to people when you reveal your alter ego. You know, the best example, and this is an insider thing because this was one of our aunties. So we had a great aunt. She was actually my father's aunt. Her name was Wavell. Mm-hmm. And she used to be the meanest person. Like that was just her what do you call that? Her normal. Her normal was get out of my way and, you know, don't make so much noise. And, you know, and we lived downstairs, my whole family, like we moved in with her and she had an apartment downstairs in a house. So she wasn't very nice, but every now and then she would say, Tweety. She'd open her door and down our stairs. Like she didn't even have the courtesy to come and get us.
Yeah.
Tweety. You know, and suddenly she was really, really kind. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she wanted us to go across the street and get her a newspaper. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah.
And then she'd give us a dime for candy.
Yes.
So that we'd get her a newspaper and then we'd pick up some penny candy, come back. And that was her alter ego. Mm-hmm. Her alter ego was Tweety. You know, it was the complete opposite mm-hmm. to her norm, right? Mm-hmm. So if she would have been a ventriloquist, her straight guy would have been her every single day. And her puppet would have been a doormat.
And one time I remember she said, here you go. And I didn't know what she had or what she was doing because I just didn't know because I wasn't sure if I could trust her. I remember I put my hand because she was doing this and I put my hand up. She dropped money in and she said, can you go and get Auntie a, whatever, loaf of bread or something like that? And I said, my mommy said I'm not allowed to cross the street by myself. She's, oh yeah, can you get Auntie a loaf of bread, Tweety? First of all, I'm thinking, why are you talking like that? You're an idiot. But anyway.
It's an S, Aunt Wavell.
Pretty sure it's Sweetie. And I think you're old enough to know that. Anyway. And then she said, so I had this money. I'm sitting there. I said, I'm not allowed. And she goes, fine. She grabbed the money. Turned around and left. I was like, well, there it is. All in a nutshell right there. God. Like that was quick. No segue. You'd never make a good ventriloquist. No segue. Oh.
No, it was Jekyll and Hyde all the way with her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I used to love doing Alfred Hitchcock when I was a kid. It must have been funnier because I was a child and I was pretending to be a fat old English guy. But I used to make my chin go really fat. Welcome to Alfred Hitchcock. My dad used to always get me to do it, right? Because he thought it was so funny. Like it's almost like he wasn't speaking; he was just making all, all slurring it together. And so because I loved impersonating stuff like that. Yeah. So I found a puppet. It's one of these monkey puppets. You can buy them anywhere. its arms fasten around your neck and your waist, and you
Yeah.
can make the head move. And that, I love that because I love the illusion of that.
Oh yeah.
Because it's got arms and everything. And
Yeah.
I gave it an English accent, called her Penny, Miss Pennyworth. She was a gibbon, I think. And yeah, but she had an English accent because she worked in a university in Oxford. And I used to say, well, that's amazing that you were in a university. Yes, I was in Oxford. Yes, quite lovely, wonderful time there. Lots of colleagues. And then I would ask her a few questions, and finally I'm like, what was your study and your focus? Oh, it was in the sciences and pharmaceuticals. And I'm like, wait, were you a lab monkey? So she was off her rocker because she had been a lab monkey.
Right. Oh,
so
awesome.
She was in this illusion.
Right? I don't think I've ever seen her in action.
Penelope Pennyworth. Yeah, I should.
We also have, who's the child?
And this is a funny thing too, because I remember I bought another puppet and I pulled it out of the bag, and my 8-year-old daughter was standing there, and I said, Kalina, and I said, you see this puppet? She said, yes. I said, what's her name? I wanted to know from a child.
Right.
What this little, her name is Melody Fashion. It just came out of her mouth right away. So that's my child puppet, is Melody Fashion.
Right.
And she says all the inappropriate stuff. She says stuff about snot and.
Yeah, she's the out of the mouths of babes.
Peeing her pants and,
yeah.
You know, and all the stuff that children say that everybody goes, oh my God, you know? Yeah. So that's like, the one I love.
He's so fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why would you like him? You know, why would you like him? Why would you like him? Why don't you love me? She's ugly, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's fun. She's fun to do stuff with. And then she's correcting people when it's inappropriate, and, you know, stuff like that.
Is it hard to inhabit Melody?
It's harder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's harder. She's too innocent.
Mm.
Yeah.
You can't make her too nasty.
I can't make her nasty. She's not nasty.
No. She's
sassy, but she's really innocent. And that's hard to make it funny.
Yeah.
Because these other guys, you know, like the gibbon, the British gibbon.
the anyway. Opera rocker, Oxford scholar.
She told me about when they were doing drug testing on Viagra. I was like, oh, what? So I have her little hand on a wand. And I'm moving her hand around because she's talking, and she said, oh, it was an uproarious time. Hot time in the old laboratory that night. And then I said, is there any side effects from stuff like that? And she said, once in a while my arm just goes straight up like this. And I can't get it down for hours. Oh God, that shocked me when she said that.
Oh man, we need to revive her.
She
needs to come out of the closet.
She had a partner.
Probably really in a closet somewhere.
Well, she had a partner, and he took off with a blue-butted baboon, and she said she misses him. It was terrible. And the last time she saw him, they were going off into the. I said, well, do you remember the last thing he said to you? And she said, yes. It was just before he died, actually. I said, what did he say? He said, who greased the vine? And then that was it. And never saw him again. Yeah.
Bravo, Trace. Bravo.
She's great.
Oh, God.
But now you know all about her.
Yeah, well,
and
can you take these guys out just to show it? You don't have to do ventriloquism, but
well, I can't the other two, but I do have the one guy with me.
Okay.
But I have to say, one, and I'm a singer, so I used to always end with a song, and so I had several gags that I'd never seen anyone else do, so I could brush my teeth and talk at the same time.
Let me just say, all the hard gags that a ventriloquist has to master, she can do. Okay, the bottle of beer, that's a hard one because the B is hard to say. Because where are you speaking, Trace? Where are you speaking? Down in here.
Well, it just depends on the letter, but it's just all in your mouth. Yeah.
But aren't you using your tongue in ways that you would know?
Yeah, but it's not like back here. It's just all up here, but it's projection.
Okay. Say bottle of beer without moving your lips.
Bottle of beer. Bottle of beer.
Wow. That's impressive.
Thank you.
That is impressive.
And yeah, so I did my piece de resistance was when I did a show once. It was a woman's show. It was the BC Woman's Show in Victoria. And Roman Danilo, he's from Kids in the Hall. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
He came on as a judge. And when I was doing my show, I had this gag. I had my puppet at 5 minutes. And I did all my number one gags. So I had 5 minutes to do it. And I ran through them. And I was up against 3 or 4 other comedians and one guy was a guy that I did. Excuse me, I worked in the magic show with him. So funny. Like, honestly, one of my favorite guys to watch. But I was so proud because I got first place at the BC show for my gags. And I asked him after, I said, why? Why did I get, because I'm sure there's other. He said, because I'd never seen those gags before. Oh. So I was really proud of myself for that. And it was a real booster. So I was in this really difficult time in my marriage and everything. And there was healing and expression. But then I went into this thing and I started to feel like I'm achieving what I was set out to do. I want to be good and I want to be worth it if someone's going to pay for it.
Right.
And I had a standard. Like, my kids would laugh at me and say, why are you acting like that? Like, and I'm like, well, I just want to get this part right. And they're like, Mom, they're 5-year-olds. It's a birthday party, for God's sake. And I'm like, no, but I'm seeing myself on the stage in Las Vegas every time I do a show. Like, that's where I want to be that. That's the standard I want, you know?
Right.
I'm not saying I did, but I made that standard, but that's what I was shooting for.
Yeah.
So when I won and I got that, I really felt it was a bit of a game changer for me because I felt like, no, I can do this. And I had some writers that were working with me. We were talking about doing a kids show. And one of them is May Brown. Shout out to May Brown. She was another one that I got introduced to. Amazing. She's hilarious. She's a comedian, great writer. And she said to me after watching my show, she said, you don't need a writer. I think you got this.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really big compliment. So, you know, I didn't develop it. I'm not world famous and I didn't travel all over. I worked with magicians like Murray Hatfield. He's been all over the world. Eric Bedard. He's done stuff for Oprah, you know, and Foster. What's that guy's name? The piano player.
Stephen?
No.
David
Foster. He a connection to him, and then David Foster got him. But these people were amazing, and I got to work with all those kind of people. And I got to do all that, right, and be around all that. But I never like made it big or anything. But But in my mind, I wanted to be that kind of quality. I wanted it to be that.
Yeah.
Make people laugh.
So we're almost an hour in. Do we get a demonstration?
Yes, I suppose we can. I got my fella right here.
Woo!
Here he is. He's probably... So I got him in this old suitcase. And I get him out. And there he is. Zultan the man. Well, hi, Zoli.
Auntie Shari? What's up?
You didn't know she was here?
I didn't. I hope my hair looks better than hers.
So, Zoli, you know, we were just talking about ventriloquism.
Oh, cool. There's a ventriloquist here? Where?
Right here.
You? A ventriloquist?
Yes. Yes, I am.
This I gotta see.
Okay, that's enough. We are just going to do a little demonstration.
Okay. I'll watch.
No, you're not going to watch. You're going to participate. But I wanted to show Auntie Shari.
Auntie Shari, she's my friend.
Yes, she is. We're going to just tell her a little bit about the end of our gag.
What gag? Are you? She's crazy.
Our gag, our ventriloquism gag.
Okay.
When we do the last bit of song, remember?
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. It sucks.
No, it doesn't suck.
I hate that song.
No, yes, but let's sing it anyway.
All right.
Ready?
Okay.
No, we're not doing that kind of stuff. This is it. Okay, ready? Well, we ain't got a barrel of money.
Mostly because she's not funny.
But we're traveling along, singing a song side by side through all kinds of weather.
What if the sky should fall?
We'll be together,
Even though I don't like her at all.
well, we may be the same as we started.
Excuse me because I just fart.
Hey, that's not on this show. But we're traveling along, singing a song
Side by side.
Yes, we're traveling the road.
Sing it, baby.
Sharing our load. Side
By side. Big finish?
Yeah, big finish.
Okay.
You take it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No cost, just money. Big cold hard cash.
Okay. Say goodbye to Auntie Shari.
Oh, but wait.
What?
No, but wait, I got another song.
No, we're not doing that, okay?
No, that I just got.
No, it's time to say goodbye.
No, but I just got. I can't say goodbye.
No, you have to say what?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
No, we're not doing that. Say goodbye, Auntie Shari.
Goodbye.
Bye, Zultan.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, quiet. Okay, say goodbye, Zoli.
Oh, love it. Tracy, thank you so much for sharing that. That's
You're welcome.
amazing.
My pleasure.
That's amazing. Well, I can drop a link. Do you still have time or do you have to go?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I got time.
Okay. I just got to see where the sun is so I know when I have to leave here and go do my chores. But I'm going to paste a link. And if anybody wants to jump in, if anybody's got any questions, anything pop up for people, things they want to ask Tracy. Yeah, and Trace, just say whatever you think. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And if you don't know, you don't know, right? That's just how it goes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. There's lots of things we don't know. Yeah, I love it. I wish I could see Melody Fashion again. And whatever happened to those guys? Are they around?
I have her somewhere tucked away, and I can't remember even if I have my other puppet. I kind of think but I sort of have this little secret because I work full time. I run accommodations as well, and I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, and I do events and stuff like that. And the ventriloquism and music part of my life has just been on hold, total hold. So I haven't done it in a while. As a matter of fact, last time I did a show, I watched my mouth, and I'm like, I'm so rusty. But anyway, but yeah, I kind of have this little secret wish someday to get you can buy these fake arms. So when you do your puppet a bird, then it's an amazing illusion.
I just thought of something really funny. You could do like a time travel show where you just, it's COVID lockdowns and you just wear a mask.
Oh yeah, I actually was going to incorporate that.
You got to do that. You got to do that.
A thing where he's wearing a mask.
No, you
know? I know that we're both wearing a mask, and that I'm like, yeah, but this isn't necessary for you to wear a mask, because and then it was the whole thing around a mask, No
problem, Jeremy. We can wait. Jeremy's going to hop in.
Okay.
Yeah. No, wouldn't that be funny though? Like the best ventriloquist in the world during the COVID lockdowns, and you just and the whole gig is about how the mask doesn't move.
Right?
Look, her mask isn't moving. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Well, have you got any other thoughts on this topic?
Just,
or are you talked out?
No, I'm just shooting a message to somebody. I don't know. There's the piece around getting someone up from the audience. That's always amazing to do.
Jeremy says social distancing with your puppet would be hilarious.
Yes. Well, I kind of wanted, during COVID, I thought about doing a show, like a virtual show with my puppet, but I just never get my head around it for some reason. I just couldn't. I wanted to do something that was going to be different.
I would want to be like totally irreverent. I'd have my puppet coughing all over me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that part you can do, but it's just, it was the material. It's like what it would have to translate to this, which is not easy. Like just now I did that little song and stuff. It's not easy when I don't have an audience. I mean, you're my audience, but you're not here. Yeah. So it's a little different, when you have
an audience really feeds that ego, doesn't it? Feeds the alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I get someone up from the audience to do a thing where I make a human.
Oh yeah, you got to talk about that. What you do with people there, because that's really fun.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot about it, and one thing I learned is you never get someone up who's outgoing, because they're also probably funny. Yeah, and they will try to command the stage, and then you've lost it, because then they're in their antics. Right. So I usually look for someone looks a little bit shy, careful, not someone who's embarrassed easy. And I love to pick on men because it just works out better for some reason. And I like it, like usually people, so it's hard to get a volunteer. So if I ask for a volunteer, I don't usually get, so I have a way of getting them on stage. that they think they're giving me a hand with something. And then I just say that now they're volunteer for that.
Oh, so you appeal to the person who is kind enough to give you a hand.
Yeah, because then they'll work with me.
Yes.
Because
that's awesome. There's some psychology going on there.
A lot. Yeah, a lot. Because at first, I was like, do I have a volunteer? Do I, and then this guy's like, I'll do it. And he's just like, he's already, he's already doing the, I don't know, whatever to make all his friends laugh. Right. And it's like, no, this is not going to work. No. Because I've had those guys up and it was like a disaster. I couldn't get them to calm down. They wouldn't follow my instruction. Everyone was laughing at them because they were funny. Yeah. But I couldn't do the gag, right? So I had to figure out, how do I get the people up that, because it's also funnier when someone's shy and, you're making them say something that's not their character, like I do this thing where I give them a voice, and I try to find the voice for them. And I try different voices like, hello, or, or, like that. And then I go, and then I'm like, oh, is that the voice you want? And the guy's like this, and I make him say, yeah, that's the voice, that's my voice. And the guys are just like, what the hell? I make them sing I'm a Little Teapot, which is always fun watching them do that. But
I'm Mama Tracy from Joy. Yeah, Joy, I don't know. There's a new feature on StreamYard that really messed me up. And I'm never using it again. When you schedule, you end up scheduling 2 streams, one for the iPhone and one for the whatever else. And anyway, it's silly and never using it again. But I don't know how to access the other chat. If anybody's in there, jump over on the other one. Yeah. So that's interesting. So you have to really weigh out, who would be good for that.
But the thing I love, I have to say, what's always shocking to me is I would be in a bar in a comedy club and guys get up and talk about, it can get so like crude, right? My material, I can use the same thing in a family kids show. Everyone laughs, and I can use the same stuff in a bar with a bunch of people partying, because it's amazing how when you start into that character, it's so engaging. People, first of all, mostly at the beginning, there's no expression, always throws me off because I start making jokes and no one's laughing. And what I realized is for the first little while, everyone's watching my mouth. Yeah. They're just watching the skill level. They're trying to watch the dynamics. And then they forget about that. And then they start engaging with the character.
Right.
And, but then when it happens, it's amazing because you see these little kids, sitting on a floor in a food court. And they're like, and then you look around and their parents are right behind them going, it's just, it appeals to everybody. And it's so fun. Yeah.
Did you ever meet another ventriloquist when you were in Victoria?
No.
No?
There's not many. No. And I find it difficult to watch. People will send me clips of other ventriloquists. I enjoy it, but I'm always comparing myself and I can't. So I'm very reluctant to watch too many, but there's some that are I just really enjoy their stuff. But
yeah, their writing probably more than it. I remember that Australian guy. Remember him? Was he Australian? Who was the guy with that big bird?
Yeah. And that was an interesting one because that was all antics. I don't think the bird talked, but it just would attack him all the time.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that was amazing. And that's the illusion. He had his arm, a fake arm around this bird.
Right.
And he would be, the guy was kind of funny, but then he would be getting attacked by the emu and stuff. Right. Yeah, and that stuff always is funny to me. I find it really
slapstick. It's, I wasn't that familiar until I married my husband with old, like, Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and all that stuff. And it took me a while to get to get into it. Like I had to be exposed to it several times before it actually made me laugh. I used to, because it was almost as if I had a very materialistic view. I'm like, that's not even, why would he even do that? That's so dumb. And it's missing the whole point, you know?
Well, I've always thought, like, those are my inspirations. Like, Abbott Costello, you know, that kind of, the old school humor. I call it my old man humor. I love that kind of humor. I've always wanted to work up Who's on First with my puppet and do a version of Who's on First. And I don't know if you remember that old song that they used to do. I think it was, I can't remember who did it, but I can do anything better than you. You know that one? It's that yes, I can. It was a man and woman duo.
Yes.
And I actually worked that up once with my puppet.
Oh, cool.
I can do anything you can do. I can do anything if you can do better. I can do anything better than you. And then we would say, okay, like what? And then say, you know, I can say bottle of beer. And then my puppet would say bottle of beer. And then, you know, we do that, or we, you know, Yeah, I love that slapstick thing. I love the absurd humor too. Like when I was in the magic circle, the magicians were doing all kinds of amazing stuff. So what I decided to incorporate for one of my final gags, and I'm risking it, somebody might steal it on me, but somebody probably did it, was there's
only 5 people watching. You're good.
Okay, good. Is I would make my guy levitate. So he would say, all these magicians here are good, but I'm like the Chris Angel of puppets. And I'm like, oh really? So then he would levitate, which is, it's absurd.
Yeah, right.
But you get the audience engaged, you know, and everyone be quiet, and it has to be quiet, and you know, and here I am just lifting my arm, you know, and everyone's just like, you know, trying to and then what I did was I had
like it.
What?
Did
they loved it, and I borrowed a big, huge metal ring from one of my magician friends, and then my puppet would say, the ring, you know, and I take the ring and I'd put it under his legs and over his head, and you know, just to prove that there was no wires or anything, you know. And then everyone would erupt in applause, you know, because he would down, and then everyone would be like, whoa, because he was levitating. That was one of the gags that I used to get the first prize at the BC Women's Show. Yeah, I was proud of that.
Oh, Jeremy just entered the room.
It takes a lot, though. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of breath work. There's a lot of vocal and breath work. This takes a lot of energy. It's like singing. It's you have to have a lot of control.
The diaphragm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One time my friend said, she said, I'll never live this down. I said, why? She said, because I was driving home from one of your shows, and I said to my husband, you know what's so weird is Tracy's puppet is louder. No, he said, Tracy's puppet is so much louder than her normal voice. Her puppet's louder. And she turned to him and said, well, that's because her puppet was closer to the mic. I was like, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. The illusion is complete. And then she was like, oh my God. I was like, yes. That's amazing. Exactly what I wanted to happen. So sometimes I'll do that if I have a mic on a stand. Rather than a lapel mic, I get my guy to say things louder into the mic, you know. Hi, Jeremy.
That's funny. Hello, Tracy.
Hi. Nice to see you. It's been a while, hey?
Yeah, it has. Yeah. No,
right on.
I was really enjoying listening to you. It reminded me when I was so I worked at a children's museum when I was younger and my primary job was a storyteller.
Nice.
But we worked out they had this system in place before I got there, but they did what were called participlays, where we would tell a fairy tale, but we would bring some kids out of the audience. So it was just for school groups, right? It was primarily, elementary school groups. So we would bring kids out of the audience and dress them up as the different characters.
Nice.
And then we would tell the story, but the kids were acting out the story.
How fun.
And where I connected with you was you were saying how you liked to do humor that appealed to everybody. And I kind of took a little different tack where I did a little bit of the Looney Tunes approach, where the kids are laughing at the kids on the stage, and I am making jokes that kids find funny, but I would also slip in some commentary intended for the teachers in the room.
Right.
It was like a meta commentary that only the adults would get, where you're like noticing that a kid is doing kind of a funny thing that, you know, and it all, like, I was really proud because at the end of the year, like I worked there for a couple of years, and
oh, that sounds amazing.
The director of the museum just said, I got 10 times more compliment cards when you were performing than I got for anyone else. And
wow.
You were just like, and it was so fun because it was a little bit of that irreverence and a little bit of the silliness, and just like you were talking about, the court jester kind of role, where you can relieve the tension, but you can get away with it because you're playing a role. You're not, it's not you being a jerk. It's the puppet. It's like a misdirection. It's like the magic of misdirection, but from a character point of view instead of a magic trick point of view. So
did you experience an alter ego when you did that, Jeremy?
Yes.
I'm just really curious about this alter ego thing.
I definitely, I mean, there was definitely on stage me, right? And you couldn't bring it off stage very much because, one, it breaks the illusion, and two, I couldn't pull it off because I wasn't smart. I had, with the story, you have a framework to build your comedy around. When you walk off the stage and you lose that framework and you lose the dynamic, it was much harder for me to like keep the ruse going.
Right.
Where I could be funny in the room at the moment with the people because it doesn't scale like that personality that's on stage that can carry a room of 500 people. It doesn't scale to your kitchen table very well.
No.
It's too
unless
big.
I'm drunk. Yeah, unless I'm drunk, and then it does, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's the drunk guy." Okay.
Did you have kind of a template that you would do with everyone, but you customize it to whatever? Yeah. So you'd have a basic structure of how it was going to look, and then they could fit in, but then you could play with it within that.
Yeah, because you had the different kids. And they would always do funny things or silly things, or you would put their hat on backwards, or, you could do simple little gags like that would get a laugh all the time. But then, you would have the dynamics of like this big tall kid and this little tiny kid, and the little tiny kid is like the star of the show. And, there were contextual humor that would come out, and that's where you could start doing the comments to the, to the adults, where you're just like, well, I didn't think of this ahead of time, right? Like, where you're kind of letting them in behind the scenes a little bit, or making kind of maybe a little bit of a suggestive joke that didn't cross the line, but the adults knew what you were talking about.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I said, Looney Tunes was my go-to.
Yeah.
But the reason I wanted to join actually wasn't just to talk about myself, because this isn't about me, this is about you. So but I was really connecting with what you were saying. But what I was curious about is two things. One, do your characters, do they come out at other times? Like, do you find yourself wanting to speak as one of your characters in response to a certain situation, or does it happen without you controlling it, or is it something that's only triggered once you open that case?
I don't think so, but my family might say different.
Well, do you ever have the thought, let's say it like this, Trace, do you ever have the thought, someone says something in a room and then suddenly you're like, Zultan would say?
No, but I get a lot of my coworkers and family and friends will say, What would Zoltan say about that, Tracy, or something like that? Yeah.
Or do you just find yourself speaking as Zultan and then going, oh, wow, why did I say that?
No.
Does that, okay.
Not without my puppet, because the illusion has to be complete for me too.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
It has to be complete for me. Yeah.
I see. Because I was thinking of like Phil Hendry. Have you ever seen his work?
No, I don't think so.
Phil Hendry he's a radio guy. And radio's dead now. So he's on the internet. And it used to be a gag where, what he would do is he plays the straight host, the straight guy, as the host. But he's doing characters for people who are in the studio with him. And he would get callers. So he would do a character of a caller who was just outrageous. Like he had this one character who was a guy who was like he was like a wannabe cop, but he was just like community patrol. Like he was the wannabe cop guy, but he always took it like way too seriously. So he was always telling stories as that. And then real people would call in reacting to the absurd character that he was playing.
I see. Okay.
And he's doing like 5 or 6 different characters.
That's cool. I like that.
All at the same time, just using the different mic techniques,
Well,
unbelievable work.
Improv, I find improv amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love improv.
And I have to say, just let me say this, she can improv really well. Yeah, she could totally. And that's
how I can relate to what you were saying is because you'll have a basic structure of what you want to say. But like what I'll do is if I do a corporate gig, when I did corporate gigs, I would find out, while I'm talking to the person who's booking, well, we're going to do and I'll say, so who's the person in the office? Because it's a corporate gig, it's a Christmas party, but it's going to be for our whole region or something like that. So who's the money guy? Who's footing the bill for this? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's Joe. Does everyone know that Joe foots the bill? Oh yeah, Joe's the guy, the money guy. Everyone knows. So I'll go, okay, good. So I got Joe. And then so who's the guy that everybody's like, oh no, somebody did. Okay, who did it? Keith did it. Oh, Keith is always doing stuff like this, and they're like, oh yeah, that's Keith. That's he's the guy that does that kind of stuff. So I'll just get a few names of people, and then I can kind of insert it into whatever I'm doing with. So, we'll talk about the venue, or this was a nice place, or it would have been better if we had better mics, but well, we should talk to Joe about that, I guess.
Right. Or wow, Joe must have spent all the money on the drinks, because he definitely didn't spend it on the mics.
Well, that's right. Yeah. And so then everyone just dies. And I remember this one time, I thought it was just amazing how it worked so well, because sometimes I'm shocked at how good it worked. I asked about one fella, and they said, oh, last year, this guy named Dan, he did this thing at the Christmas party, and we haven't been able to let him down. I mean, let him forget it. Thanks. So I was just waiting for the moment, and then we were laughing about this and that. And then my guy, what Shari brought up, the thing about the fact that my guy is a guy. So what my guy does sometimes is he'll we'll be laughing. We'll have a lull or something. And then he'll say, I noticed that girl in the front, she's been looking at me the whole time, and then the girl in the front's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
So I do all that, and then he flirts around, right, with the girls, and then she's, hey baby, give me a call and stuff like that. And then we'll do that kind of stuff, and then start getting the audience engaged and do some improv. And then somebody will say, well, that's not going to happen. And then my guy will say, well, Dawn will make it happen. Everybody just goes, oh my God. And then they say, oh, she customized the whole thing for us.
Wow. Oh, right.
And I'm like, well, I didn't, but I did. I found a way to, to make
to tie it. Yeah.
To tie it in. And
it's like a really huge throwback for them, right? Like that's a huge, which is like, it's like time travel for them. Like that is a magic trick in itself, right? Like,
and I learned that from really good magicians like Eric Bedard. He would take a simple card trick and turn it into this hilarious scenario. So the beginning of the trick, and then there was a lot of middle where all these antics were going on, and there was people coming from the crowd and funny things going. And then the end of the trick, it might be just a simple card trick, but the gag, it was sandwiched in so much comedy and antics and stuff that it was just brilliant how it came off, because it wasn't just a joke. And that's the same thing with stuff like you're doing. When you get these kids up on stage, but some kids got a wedgie, and you use that, right?
Yes, right. Yeah, and it can just be a look to the audience. Right. That's it. That's all it takes, right? It's like it's the breaking the fourth wall where you're just like
timing.
I know. But I couldn't do that. Like I just don't have it. Like that's not my personality. I guess no, it isn't. It's just not me, right, Trace? It's not me.
Maybe not. I don't know. I find you really funny, but I find that we feed off each other. So I think of you as somebody who's funny.
I am funny. I can be really funny, but I'm not like, this is one of the things I hated drama class, because I didn't know how to be somebody else.
Like, can't you act?
It just was always me. And it was like, no, you're supposed to be
De Niro.
But Juliet, Shari, and Romeo and Juliet. Just like, Romeo, this is me. It's like I was calling my dog.
So for me, the guy on stage was the guy I wanted to be.
Oh,
but I couldn't pull it off.
So you were an actor.
Yeah. It was the guy I wanted to be. When I did stand up, or when I did comedy, or when I did emceeing, or when I did the storytelling, I was the guy I wished I was. It was like it was the alter ego that everyone thought was funny, and and everybody wanted to be his friend and everything. And then like one time I remember I did stand up for a little while, not very long, but I did stand up, and after a show,
that's so nerve-wracking.
It was so fun. It was nerve-wracking and fun. But after the show, I actually had a guy who was just like, this is amazing, this is so fun, and I want to have you over for dinner, and it was really hard because
did you go to dinner?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
so
no,
me and my wife
went the comedian there for dinner.
Yeah, but I kind of pulled it off, but the problem is it doesn't scale. Well,
your microphone looked awkward on the table, right?
Right. Yeah, but here's the thing too, is that like I didn't know how much to bring, right? I didn't know how much
never sat down for a moment.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, thanks for dinner. Thanks for coming out to dinner tonight. Glad
I'm here all week. I'm here all week.
Right. Tip the host, right?
Oh, it's like being a kid, and you go around after go to the mall, Christmas haul, during the Christmas season, see Santa, and then you go with your mom to the car, and he's outside having a smoke. And you're just
right.
Oh,
yeah,
wait, what?
Yeah, right.
But
exactly.
Actually, my friend Carolyn, and I use this whatever line once in a while, because she used to say that. She used to say it's funny because people will have me over or invite me to a party, and then they'll say, "Be funny, Carolyn."
Yeah. Right. And you're like,
and she'd say, "Well, then you're going to have to pay me." And I thought, oh, that's a good one. She said, you don't have a plumber over and say, can you fix my plumbing while you're here before dessert?
Right.
Like, she's like, no, that's my job. And if you want me to be funny, you have to pay me.
Yes. It is a performance.
Yeah. And it's a performance because you have to get into a character, right?
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
No, so the other question I had, I met another ventriloquist who actually came to the Children's Museum where I worked. And he was great. And he did a kids show. Like he did, it was his primary audience was kids. He went to his living was he went to elementary schools and performed.
Yeah.
And so he had a dinosaur, and it was a singing dinosaur. He did a whole bit where like the dinosaur would hold a spoon in his mouth, and he was the one who played the guitar.
Oh yeah.
But he would sing while he was doing it. So he was like, it was like the ventriloquist doing the talking, like, I got a spoon in my mouth, right? So it was like,
oh, that's clever.
It was hilarious. It was like it was a double inversion. On
like a double illusion, and that's tricky. because the physicality of it is very challenging for your brain.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
It is.
I mean, just to play guitar and concentrate on the spoon in the mouth and the ventriloquist, like that's like whatever this is.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, he was very skilled. But here was a really interesting thing. I asked him, do you ever break into character? He's like, no. He's like, the character lives in the box with, he is the dinosaur. And when I pull him out, then yes, he's there and we talk. But he said, but if I go too long without pulling him out, I start getting really out of sorts. Like I start getting, he's like, I get a little anxious and I get a little grouchy and I just need to have him come out. I can't just leave him in there for a long time. He's like, I one time I had it. He's like, he said early in my career, I had a vacation, and it was like, I had like a couple of months where I wasn't doing any shows. And he was like, after about a week, my wife was like, do you need to like get that dinosaur out of the box? Are you okay? Like, what is going on with you?
Oh, that definitely therapy, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, that's what you were saying, Tracy. It was
that's what it felt like for him. Yeah.
It was therapeutic to you to pursue your ventriloquism when you were down in that low spot, right? And I think this is how, Grizz, I don't know what the hell is going on with the double and vertical stream, but I'm never apparently.
There was a new feature in StreamYard.
On one side.
Yeah. But anyway, when Jeremy just said that about that guy saying, he needs to interact with his puppet every now and then, it's a way of it's what IFS, like internal family systems, is doing. It's giving you that opportunity to have that discussion with those different parts of yourself that somehow help you to sort things out. But I'm just a monoculture. I don't have any other.
Do you find the puppet first and then the character comes forward? Or do you have a character that you're looking for a body for?
Oh, that's interesting. I think I could do that, but I never have.
Which one?
I've never had thought of the character and then a body for. When I gave the British accent to the gibbon that I had, puppet up. I don't know if you heard me talking about that.
I did, yeah.
Puppet.
Yeah.
I think I did have that character before. It was something I played with when I was younger. Being kind of an uptight British person, but and that's when I thought, because I love the shock value of it and the contrast. When you have this, it's a monkey.
A lab monkey, no less, right?
Yeah, and then she's well, she doesn't know she's a lab monkey. She said she worked in the sciences in Oxford.
Right.
And so she wasn't teaching though, because I asked her, are you teaching? She was like, no. I was involved in a lot of, sorting things out and scientific and experimental things, and I was like, okay.
That's funny.
All righty then. Yeah.
So, and then
you didn't break the illusion of the monkey. You didn't tell her, oh, you were a lab monkey. And she's like, what? Or did you go along with it where you're like,
I think I went along with it for a while. And and then every once in a while she would just pass out. And then I'd say, do you feel like there was any side effects? Oh, no, not.
Right. I see. So dramatic irony is a huge part of it. Sounds like dramatic irony is a big part of your what you do.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds perfect, actually.
Well,
it's when the audience is the audience knows information that the character doesn't know, and you're playing off of that imbalance, right? So you're not revealing to the monkey that the monkey is just a lab test monkey, but the audience figured it out.
Well,
so you're just bringing that out and bringing out that tension.
We're
and then they're
at the same time, right? Like we're all discovering it together, and then because at the beginning when she first comes out, she starts going ooh, 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 and people are like, oh, this is not like it looks really dumb, right?
Right.
And then I'm like, and then finally I say to her, "What are you doing?" And then she's, "Oh, I'm just speaking their language." And I'm like, whose language are you speaking?
That's a great bit. That's really funny.
I need to see her again.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yeah, and then I'll
Especially
say,
the
well,
Viagra bit. I really want.
Oh Lord, yeah, that was good. We never had much time to develop it, but
that sounds funny. I did hear that when I was driving. That was really funny.
Yeah.
So it also reminded me, I did have an experience. I told Shari about this the other night. I worked for a company where they made remote controlled robots, and they were like, it was like I don't know, the size of, I don't know, I don't know. It was like bigger than this trash can.
Yeah.
But it would like drive around it. So we had one that was like a fire truck and it had a dog in the fire truck, and you were remotely controlling it. But I had a headset and a microphone and had a voice changer in the robot.
Oh wow, that's
So I
great.
could drive the robot, and then every time you
Why
talk,
do you get to do all these great jobs? Like what the heck?
because I have ADD. That's why. I've had 35 jobs in my career. Like the longest I've ever had a job.
How do you apply for that job? Like
well, it was just, I was a salesperson for the company, but that just meant going to the shows and running the robot to try to sell it to the firemen.
And you could have got yourself an actual show doing that. That's
I should have. I considered buying one for that reason, honestly, but they're really expensive. Like at the time, they were like $8,000, and I was like, I can't come up with $8,000 for one of these. No. But anyway, so the mouth would move when you would speak, and you could blink the eyes, and you could make the eyes move remotely. You could do all of that, and I could remotely move the head, And then there was a microphone on the car, so they were talking to the car, and I could hear them.
Oh,
but yeah. So the best thing was like at the shows is usually I could get up above, or I could be like in a side room, and like we would throw up a camera so I could kind of see the people and know who I was interacting with, but they could not find me. They couldn't see me. Right.
That's great.
It was so fun because it's like ventriloquism without the skill. Right. Like I didn't have to practice.
It was a puppet. It was a puppet.
It was just a puppet.
And they got to interact with this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had a little squirt gun and on the truck as well. So they get too close and you just squirt them with squirt gun. You're like, hey, whoa, hey, like you get, come on, babe. Like, you didn't pay for the touching part of this show. You paid for the talking part of this show. And she's like, I didn't pay anything. I'm like, well, okay, so you made my point, right? Like the fact that I'm talking to you is a favor to you. But what was fun was it was interesting how the character started coming out, because like they're expecting a fun little safety. Oh, hi kids, and when I'm at a show and there were no kids, it was all adults at a fire show. And fire people and police department is like, they're pretty irreverent.
Right.
And so, oh man, it was just a riot, because I could drive it around. So I could just drive around in the hallways and look for trouble, and then when someone's talking to me all the time and I'm like, hey, whoa, or I would like, I would drive past a woman and then stop, pull back, turn, look, and then drive up, and then stop and pull back and drive and look again. You pull that like 3 or 4 times, and they're like, "Now who is this?" And I'm like,
"What's going on?
Who's this?" They're like, "It talks," and you're like, "Whoa, it talks!"
That's so awesome.
It was so fun. Yeah, no. So,
oh man,
but it would be really hard for me, because like I was able to slip into this alter ego. Yeah, I know. I didn't work there anymore because I don't know. It's a long story. It's a long story because there was a lot more to the job than running a robot, unfortunately. If it was just the robot, I would have been all over it. But mainly it was writing grant proposals.
Okay, that's like torture.
It's the opposite.
Yeah. Somebody stabbing yourself in the face with a pencil.
No, I did not get fired. Actually, we sold quite a few robots because I figured out how to make a pretty convincing illusion of it being independent, like it being, now people would think it was AI, right? Like they were talking to AI. You could actually kind of turn that into, that would be how I would make it a joke now, is like, oh, you're just talking to AI. Oh, you're just talking to AI. Oh, what you said is really brilliant. and I'm going to tell you just how brilliant it is because I'm AI, right? Like it would have been really fun. But anyway, no, you've just kind of triggered my little performing mindset here. It's really fun.
Well, actually, I love that. I have a friend, Winnie, the one who every once in a while, she's so crazy. Honestly, she's hilarious. My phone will ring and she'll be like, Tracy, is Zultan there? And I'm like, hi, Winnie. I can get him. Why? And she'll say, I have my friend on the phone. This is Sally. Say hi to Tracy, Sally. Sally say hi. And then she'd say, oh, well, I just wanted to ask Zultan something. And we do this whole thing.
Wow.
Like literally in Walmart doing this thing with her.
Doing a bit. Yeah, that's fun.
And it's fun. And honestly, I was thinking about that when Shari asked me to come on to talk about it. Yeah. I would love to have her come on with me sometime.
We should. Can we do that? Can we schedule it?
Let's schedule it. And even having Carolyn and Carolyn, we have the most fun. Myself, Winnie, who's an actress and comedian and singer and flautist, and then Carolyn, who got me going. And then there was another lady who's a professional clown. Her and her husband do clowning. And we would get together and sometimes just have dinner and stuff like that. And it's fun. It's just fun to talk about all that creative piece of who we want to be. You know, it's kind of like the musician in me. Like I wish I could cut and run when it comes to my creative side, you know. I just wish I wish I could stay there because all the other stuff, it sucks the life out of me. And even though I don't dislike what I'm doing, I actually have a lot of fulfillment in what I'm doing. And it's the people I care about. It's the mundane, that's the reports and and just, punching the clock. And it's just like, And then I don't feel like being funny.
Yeah, exactly.
At all. And someone's like, can you bring your puppet? And I'm like, no, I just don't want to be funny right now.
There's no funny way to fill out a dumb report.
Yeah, but that's kind of like dying of hunger. Mm-hmm. You know, at first you are really, really hungry, but you can't access food. And so you have to struggle with hunger. And after a while, your body stops giving you hunger signals. Mm-hmm. And you can just starve to death without suffering from actual hunger. Mm-hmm. Tracy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is the big sister talking.
I hear you.
That's a good analogy. Well, I was actually relating to like the other direction as well. So I was listening to a priest today talking about the darkness of divinity. I won't go too far into the theology road here, but basically he was talking about a ladder, and he was talking about, the ladder to heaven is the way you think of it, right? Which is different than the stairway to heaven. Anyway, so the ladder to heaven, he's saying, you go up the ladder, but he said, here's the thing with ladders. You don't stay at the top of a ladder. You put a ladder up and you need to go up there for something, but you also come back down the ladder. You don't stay at the top of the ladder. Yeah. You can't live at the top of a ladder because it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. And that's what he was talking about with like an encounter with holiness, right? He's like, Moses didn't stay on the mountain. The three disciples didn't stay on the Mount of Transfiguration. Mm-hmm. They came back down. And that's what I was thinking about, where, you and I have both been burned out by the world a little bit. And it is nice. It would be nice. It is nice to go up the ladder where you're performing or where you're acting or where you're projecting and you're gathering, right? Like there's a lot of energy that comes back to you when you're on stage, but you can't live there. That's kind of where I was talking about, where like it's fun to watch the guy on stage, but you don't want him at your dinner table. Right. And that's the hard part for me, is that I didn't know how to scale back down, and I didn't know what that guy was expecting. And I kind of wanted to, like, free dinner. I wanted to put on a little bit of a show, but I also had to rein it in, but I didn't rein it in quite enough. My wife was like, that was kind of obnoxious. And I'm like, well,
I had to be that guy.
I didn't know what to do, you know. So yeah, Grim Grizz is making a good analogy. It's intermittent fasting, right? It's like,
oh yeah,
you go a while without eating, and then but you need to. It's okay to eat sometimes, and I think that's the thing with performing. It's
how
like,
long you guys? What?
Guys, as in disguise.
How long you guys
He's
going
doing
for?
word plays.
Uh-huh.
How long you guys going
Yeah.
for?
That's
You
good.
know, I just wanted to relate a dream. I don't know if I've ever told you about this dream, but it was when I was very, very depressed, like very depressed. And I dreamt that I was in a house, and it was kind of you remember the house in Beetlejuice, how it had this surreal landscape around it? It was very barren and desolate. Well, it wasn't surreal. It was just barren and desolate. And I could see the house from the outside. Like, that's how the dream started. I saw the house, and then I'm in the house, and I'm sitting in the house, and I'm very depressed. And all the curtains are closed in the windows. It's dark, and it's daytime. And I know that there's dead people buried under my house.
Ooh.
But it's not I don't feel afraid about it. It's not spooky or anything. I just know they're all buried under there, all these dead people. And as soon as it gets dark, they all start floating up through the floorboards.
Ooh.
Okay. And they're wearing very nice clothes. Like they're like the epitome of button down conservative. Okay. The women are very moderately dressed, but very pretty and, zipped right up. And the men are wearing suits.
Like the Brotherhood.
And then, I'm not sure how much longer, not too much longer, Grizz. And then they start cleaning my house. And I mean, with toothbrushes. Okay.
Wow.
So, and they've got like these little attachments on vacuum cleaners, and they're doing the drapes, and
I want ghosts like that.
And they're going around, cleaning the faucets and the baseboards. And I'm sitting there going, oh God, please just get out. And it's torment for me.
Why?
And then one of them comes up and says to me, Shari, there's a rusty broken pipe in the crawl space and you need to go fix it. Okay. We're not going down there. Look at it. They're perfectly, like, beautifully dressed. Okay. And so I get up and I'm just like dragging myself. I am who I am in the dream. I'm totally exhausted. I'm depressed. Mm-hmm. I don't want company, all this stuff. And I go down into this crawl space and it smells musty. And this I need to figure out because I've had many dreams during that time where the air smelled moldy and musty. And anyway, and I go in there, it's wet, moldy, and musty. Okay. Those things always go together. And there's this little man down there, and the crawl space is like 4 feet high, and he's 4 feet high. He's just below, and he's perfectly, like, he's not a dwarf. He's not malformed or anything. He's just a very small man. And he's wearing like a cap, like a Frenchman would wear, but it's all patchwork, and it's really bright colors, and it's beautiful texture, velvet, brocades, and tapestry.
I want to watch this. It's a short film. I want to watch it.
And then his clothing is like that. It's silks and reds, brilliant, vibrant, ochre, and all kinds of like beautiful colors. And I'm like, oh, who are you? You're so beautiful. And he goes, I'm Picasso. Dance with me, Shari. And I reach out and I touch his hand, and he goes, whew, he turns to ash on the floor.
Wow.
And Grizz is here. Hey, Grizz.
Hey, Grizz.
And so what, and I had no clue what that dream meant, okay, for a long time, until I did the Big 5 personality test from Jordan Peterson. And it turns out that I'm in the 99th percentile for conscientiousness, which are all those dead people cleaning my house, okay, with toothbrushes. And I'm in the 99th percentile for creativity.
Right.
which is actually a really rare combination. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's just because I'll tell you what, it's freaking torture. Okay. Because all I could think about at that point in my life, and this was when I had the brain injury and I couldn't do anything and I was confused and all that stuff. So I wasn't able to do my duties. And conscientiousness is I want to swear, but it's a killer. Okay. Because it always trumps creativity. It's like, if you're super conscientious, you have to put all that silliness to one side and do your duty first. So I had these two things on my shoulder and they were ripping me apart. Right. So when I found out about that, the dream came back to me and I was like, oh my God, all my creativity was in the crawl space, molding and turning to ash. Right.
But your conscientiousness was trying to get you to go down there.
I don't know if this play on words.
Well, it was one that told you the rusty pipes down there. We can't go down there. You got to go.
Right. But let me just finish really quick because so what I did, I cried. When I read my results, I bawled my eyes out. And then I said, damn it, if I'm 50-50, then I have to split my time up 50-50. So I'll do my duty, 50% of my day, like my actual 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever. And then I'll do creativity for the rest of the time. And I've been doing it ever since. And I never felt balanced in my life. Okay. I always felt pulled to this creative side that the conscientious side kept saying, no, you'll have time to color later.
Well, this was going to be my point. The conscientious side was saying, but you must.
That's what Jeremy just said. Yeah.
You must.
Yeah.
That's where the must and the mold come in.
Oh.
Must. You must.
Well, I've read about it a little bit in psychoanalysis. And because I also had a dream that I was in an old log cabin that was musty, moldy, and tipping to one side. And there was a horrible storm. And it was pouring rain and it's dark, but it was in the middle of the day. And this huge bear was coming across this swollen creek that had a little bridge on it. And it was coming at me, this huge bear. And I'm standing in a moldy, musty cabin. Like that was my life.
Wow.
I was molding away.
That's telling.
Wow, thank you.
23 months, but that commitment. It's amazing.
That is
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
so Grizz.
God willing, we'll be here.
By the way, we're at your I kicked it to my stream as well because not enough people know about the Restoring Meaning channel on YouTube.
Thank you.
And this is what yes, some cross.
Hello, everybody at the Grizz channel.
For those of you just seeing that side of it, the first hour and a half or so of this are on that channel, and that's where you find out that Tracy is a ventriloquist lady. And these two at the top are normally on the screen.
Yeah, we're usually doing stuff, but I just thought it would be really fun. I talked about it in Rigel's stream, Grizz, and I told them there that at Southeastuary, I kind of threw my sister to the dogs because I started showing people her YouTube videos of her ventriloquism, trying to pull her.
Thanks for calling us dogs, by the way.
Who let the dogs out?
I'm sorry. Here comes my conscientious.
There he is. There it is right there.
Please forgive me.
Ooh, that's a nice dog.
Yeah. But anyways, and then she watched that stream because we were talking about how does a person partition themselves off, right?
Yeah.
So
Emily gave her a great review, whatever happened there.
That stream, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It was full of life, laughter.
No, Food Truck Emily from Southeastuary gave you a good review. Yeah. I haven't heard any of those stories. If you want to tell them.
Well, hold on though before we do, since we're doing a cross stream, we're crossing the streams.
Oh, fair enough.
Now we need a clip to Ghostbusters right there. But can you do the savings throws for us? Because I think we could use that.
guys,
can we do that?
I guess
that...
it is on my channel. I would be allowed.
Okay, that would be excellent. Thank you.
We got a juxtadeck card jumper of the 7 of spades, though. So
all right, well, that's a good sign.
That means is it a good sign?
Love that. I love 7 of spades.
I give no interpretation. All right. Well, in order to do this, we have to do the spiel. Since you're driving the screen display,
yes.
You want to explain to the folks what the savings throws are?
Well, savings throws are a way of defending you against the constant onslaught of the machine trying to take over your soul and hypnotize you fully. And but it takes your soul one little day at a time by hypnotizing you. And these savings throws are going to help offset that that force that's always trying to consume you.
And to get one, you have to choose what you will base your resistance to the mind control on, whether that be your will to survive, your social network, your accumulated wisdom, or the power of your heart. You make a choice, I roll the dice. If your die comes up 10 or higher, you take half damage from the mind control in this show and the rest of the week. And if it's under 10, you take full damage. But hey, you got a savings throw. So survival, social, wisdom, or heart.
Sorry.
Choose.
What are you choosing, Trace?
You don't got to tell anybody.
I need to know what the option was.
Survival, social, wisdom, or heart.
Wisdom.
Shari, you want to say?
I'm picking heart.
Jeremy, heart as well. Let's see how it goes. Survivalists, chakra 7 for you. Chakra 7 for you. That's full damage, but you got to
but it matches the card. That's got to mean something.
That's 2. Oh, but then a 5. But then a 5 for the socialists. Lovers of wisdom. Number of transformation 11. Half damage.
Woo!
Nice, folks. The 2 at the top. Prime 17.
Woo!
17. And this. Oh, wow. Wow. It's been a minute. Indigo kids. You get to see. Let's see if we can actually. No, that just makes it glare. She's in there. The only time this die makes an appearance is on a nat 20, which gives the Indigo kids a +3 to next dream saves.
Wow. Nice.
She's in there. Okay. So there it is. Wow, that's been a while for the Indigo kids. Seriously.
Wow.
Special. That means this is special. I'm too low.
I have to mute my mic for a moment, just a sec. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's fine.
So, what was
Thank
your
you for bringing the
before
savings through.
all that, Grizz? What was your question before? Jeremy forced you to do savings throws for our
We needed the help. Sorry.
I was trying to get Tracy's take on Southeastuary.
Oh, that's right. Yes. You're muted.
She's
probably talking to somebody else.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
She's
my husband's on his way home. So we have, there's no Wi-Fi for I don't know what kilometer, 200 kilometers, 100 something miles. And so when he's leaving to come home, he has to let me know because we live off grid. So there's no Wi-Fi until he gets home.
And no cell service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Cool.
taking a 2-hour drive and letting you know he's on that drive.
He's on the drive and there's no services along the road either. So it's like, if he doesn't show up, then we always we'll wait a little longer and then see maybe somebody anyway. Yeah. So my take of Southeastuary, first of all, I just loved it. I love the setting. I thought the setting was amazing. Dave did a great job. That was a great choice. Like just being in all those trees and, the hardwoods and everything and the hills. It was crazy beautiful to me. And I love being with my sister, and I love kind of being in the shadows because I feel like I have no responsibility except just to be her sister, and we don't get to have time together. So for me, that's really what it's all about. But then I get to hear about the inner workings of what's going on, and I'm just getting to know you guys a bit. Like I met you before, and then I kind of peek in once in a while online to see what's happening, but it's not a part of my everyday, right? So yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was really interesting. Like I said, it's so eclectic, and it's like it sort of reminds me of empty canvas, right? Everyone gets there, and then there's all this color, and we're not sure what the painting's what's going to take shape, how it's going to look in the end, and then it's like there's something manifests that's different each time. Like somebody will talk and some feedback, and I don't know. I love that part of it.
I love the way it came together at the campfire.
I love that.
That was epic.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching the fire lick up on those leaves that were hanging over, and that huge tree that was just hanging over, and all the leaves were dancing in the flames, you know. I mean, it was amazing. I loved it. Yeah. We got to experience Pastor Paul singing hymns. So that was a real treat for everybody. Yeah.
I liked the Sabbath ritual from Joseph. I thought that was really, really great.
All of it was great. And Grimm, he broke out in a patriotic song.
And oh, now to find out what happens next, you'll have to come over to the At Restoring Meaning channel.
That's right. Paul Vanderklay, we're over here.
It's getting juicy now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you want a real treat, Tracy talks a lot about ventriloquism. So if you got the time, you could go back and watch this.
It's ventriloquism for real dummies.
That means you, Paul.
Yeah, I got the. I killed it already. We can talk dirty.
It's not on your channel anymore?
No. I said to get this hot scoop, they have to come over.
Okay.
Good for you.
Ooh,
Nice.
Grizz.
That's fun.
Grizz is grifting. It's awesome.
Yeah, I got everybody to sing. What is America the Beautiful? Was that it?
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
I was singing it, even though
Shari, and she was telling me about the songs that she's singing in the church she's going to. And it was so fun because she started singing her song. So she's sitting beside me. I'm holding her hand. She's singing her song, and she's singing in, what language was it, Shari? It was
beside you?
At the campfire, Joy was singing.
Oh, she was singing in Slavic.
Slavic, yeah. She was singing Slavic.
She was singing a Slavic chant. Right?
Yes. And because she was sharing it with me. I said, sing it to me. Tell me how it goes. So she was sitting there, and we're at the campfire, you know, and it was the light and the leaves and everything and the trees. It was just like so magical. And I just kind of looked down the line, and there was a young guy sitting a couple people down, and he kind of looked over like this, and he kind of looks back at the fire, and I smiled at him. I said, do you understand what she's singing? He says, yes. He says, I know this. This is a Slavic song. And I said, oh, you understand it? He says, yes. And I said, what is she saying about? She's singing about Christ. And I said, so how does it feel right now sitting in North Carolina at a campfire with a Ghanaian woman singing a Slavic hymn? I said, is it nee, 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 nee? He just shook his head. He's like,
talk about mashup. Wow.
I said, he's just waiting for some kind of a, disc shaped something come over and a beam of light comes down, or
it's more like that. Did you pray for a sign earlier or something, bro?
Yeah, right. I said, how is this working for you? You've got
like, God, if you're real, show me you're there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have this dark-skinned lady sing Slavic to you.
Exactly.
Watch this.
And then I should have chimed in and said, and there's more. I'm a ventriloquist. I'm just kidding. But wait, there's more.
Right? So was it really her singing?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, but I didn't say it.
Casino deck card of the show is the 7 of diamonds.
Ooh, beautiful.
Man, we had a 7 of spades, now 7 of diamonds.
One more 7 and we're golden.
One of the rolls was a 7, so
Mm.
Yeah,
you can
7
count it,
territory
you can
here.
count it.
This is like the heavenly country.
I allow interpretation. I don't do that. I just provide the sickles and signs.
There you go.
I'm not allowed to interpret.
Oh, look at this. Hello.
Hey, wow.
Hi, Paul.
How you guys doing?
Old home week.
Man, we're
Paul,
excited to have you like christen our channel with your presence. We've been doing it for a bit now, and no, I mean you're the godfather of TLC, so we're honored to have you.
No.
Just don't
I
wake
hope
up
he
with the
does
horse
well,
head
though.
in your bed, Jeremy.
What's that? Oh, right.
Yeah, you call me Godfather, but do you show up at my family? Do you say, "Oh, now you want a favor."
Your mic's terrible, PVK.
Oh.
Speaking of which, what is it? 1 week until you get the slave labor reconstruction of the church grounds?
Yeah, we'll see how many slaves we get. I have no idea how many will be here. My expectations are not high, but the truth is, if we get 1 or 2 or 3 plus the 2 or 3 or 4 local, that's good. I'm happy with that. I'm totally happy. You know, we're just making the dunk lit a fire under me to get moving on, let's say, a late winter, early spring conference. So we're working on that now. So
You know what?
see.
You know what, PK? When I was at Southeastuary, Grizz asked me about doing an event on my farm, or I started talking to him about it. I don't remember.
I wasn't allowed to say anything, even though I'm a member.
I know.
Of the
I'm breaking
transparency.
breaking the silence. And I said to him, if I did something on my farm, it would be a very small group of people. And he goes, well, who would you have as a speaker? And I said, nobody. We would just work. We would eat together. We'd sit around campfires. And, you know, and then Grizz is like, oh, you could call it the carry wood or what was it? Carry water and chop wood conference.
Carry water.
Chop wood, carry water. That would be our
Feed
conference.
the chickens. Yeah.
That's a good conference. I think that's a great idea.
No speakers.
Yeah. With Vanderklay and I talked about that, but I don't know. I'm a little nervous. So actually, I've got some spicy options that I'm working on for speakers. So
Ooh, spicy.
Spicy.
You're going to do
Spicy.
one in Sacramento?
That's what we're talking about. So we'll see.
Oh, ace.
Heart.
Oh, Ace of Hearts.
Heart, Grizz.
All right. A bullet to the heart. Look at that.
Cool.
But
I mean,
I
Speakers are
want
fun.
to.
Yeah, speakers are fun, but I don't see that at my place in a small group as a venue for that, you know. I thought about doing like a writing retreat. But then I'm just like, oh.
What are you thinking? Like 12 people, like the Connecticut?
Yeah, something like that. Something small, you know, because I don't really have the facilities, and otherwise I'd have to throw people to the elements. They'd see the farmer woman come out at me and be like, stay out of my house. There's an outhouse over there and a shower over there. Don't come in.
You got an outside shower. That's good for the camping folks.
Carrie has a gift of hospitality, and the definition of the gift of hospitality is making people feel at home when you wish they were.
Good.
Nice.
Oh, we've had so many, like Tracy too. Like Tracy runs a bed and breakfast in her house as well, right? So, you know, And that's an option. Like if we did something here, we could always do a little
Do an excursion
to Choco Lake because
Oh,
Name
like
My
we're,
Valley.
like we're on a
because
cruise. It's like a Canadian cruise.
That's right.
But it's twice removed where we live, right? So you have to go Vancouver and then Williams Lake. And Williams Lake is a prop plane.
Mm.
You know, everybody gets a window seat because there's only one seat on each side.
Wow.
Shari says when you're getting on that plane, it feels like you're being swallowed by a snake.
Is it gold when I get on?
Yeah, exactly.
Usually fall asleep on it. It's so loud you can't talk. You're just like, it's an hour
So
for this.
if I did a retreat estuary thing like I do at my sister's, but I did it at your Airbnb, not your Airbnb, your B&B, how many people can you hold?
Oh goodness, it's cozy. I've got 4 rooms, but then I also sometimes like I have a 5th wheel trailer outside, so it just depends. Yeah, I could probably have. Oh, I don't know. I could squeeze people in. I think 8 comfortably, but if people want to, like, sometimes people bring trailers or have tents or something like that. Yeah.
I do 12 at my sister's, and next time I do one at my sister's, I swear it won't be cold, because last 2 times I've done it at my sister's, it was cold. And you know, New England weather just swings around, and so you don't want it to be too cold, you don't want to be too hot.
No.
If the weather's good, she can actually pack a fair number in. She has a bunk room, and she's got all these outdoor rooms that don't have heat or anything like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So you need the warmth, the weather. Yeah.
I need the weather. And she's close enough to Thompson, Connecticut, that people can stay in hotels, and so those. Because to stay at my sister's, it's not cheap and it's not fancy.
Right.
It looks beautiful because her whole house is this New England decor set that she does all of her stuff for her YouTube channel on.
Yeah.
But it's bathrooms and heat and those kind of creature comforts. Not so much in that 18th century house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's another option that I thought of, because just maybe half an hour down the highway from my house is an old lodge from like turn of the century. It's log, and they've got a kitchen, and they're mostly doing events now. Trace, did you know they're mostly just doing events? Yeah, and they've got lots of rooms. I don't know how many people they can fit there. Actually, do you know, Trace?
I'm thinking at least. Yeah, I know they have some rooms have bathrooms, and some of them it's a shared room in the hall. It's like an old stagecoach stop. Yeah, it's beautiful though.
It's really beautiful, and it's like a short jaunt from my house. And you know, you could do an event there. People could stay there, and then
not far from the airport either.
We could do stuff here at my place. We could do stuff in Nemaya at Tracy's place.
We could do an excursion, yeah, because it's only a 2 hours drive to my house.
You can do all night campfires at my house. Like I don't have neighbors, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sounds like
there could be some chopping wood and carrying water here too.
And we could charge $8,000 a person, and I could retire. Let's do it. Wait, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you know, the TLC, you know, it's not a
big money. No, nothing worth anything is
we're in it for the love.
The moneymaker. Really.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't do it for the money.
No, I'm just kidding.
I have a question since I have. So all of us have been to at least one estuary. I've been to one. I went to Northwestuary.
I met you at one, and then I got to the other one.
Yeah, and so you, Trace, has been to 2. Shari, you've been to almost all of them except for Midwestuary.
I never went. No, I just went to Northwestuary and Southeastuary. That's
okay. So
I never went to Thunder Bay or Chino.
Gotcha. But Paul, I'm most curious about how you have seen it evolve? Like, you've been to all of them, so I'd like to hear your reflection on how it's grown and what you've seen, like how it's developed and how you feel about that.
Well, it's still morphing, because there haven't been that many events, and every event has been different.
Mm-hmm.
And like with Nate's influence, Southeastuary and Northwestuary, they had a fair amount of similarity. But, you know, Thunder Bay and especially the European ones, they've all been very different. People want different things out of them in terms of the organizers. So Chicago really wanted a big event, and they brought in, you know, high publicity speakers. But with 350 people, it's a certain kind of thing. The big events are fun, and I think Minnesota will be a big one. I was talking to Vendonk yesterday, all the different ones that are sort of in production. There's a bunch of them that are in production. When Texas happens, or various Texas ones, those will be big because we've got a lot of people in Texas and a lot of overlap with Symbolic World. So, but I like the smaller ones. I like the ones where you can stand a reasonable chance to have a conversation with anyone you want. And I like quirky things. And so, you know, at Southeastuary, the Jordan Hall session was, sort of set everybody thinking about different things. I think it's good to stir things up like that. So when I think about an event, it's going to have to be small because Livingstone's isn't big. And I'm going to bring in, if you get to plan it, you get to pick the speakers. So I'm going to bring in some speakers. I'm not really bringing in speakers, actually. Like I just did this conversation with P.F. Jung today, who's a young guy who's got his own channel. He's done a lot of Jordan Peterson stuff. He's the kind of guy I'd like to bring in, someone who isn't done any speaking tour, but maybe has a little YouTube channel, has a little bit of, some people will want to see him because the draw, the death of something is when you just make it for your friends. Right? You always have to sort of do something that invites fresh into it so that it just doesn't get stagnant. So they've all been good. Everyone's been different. Northwestuary was the most powerful that I've, I definitely have to figure out a way to get Grizz there. Grim, I'll certainly comp you a ticket, man. And then we'll see what we can do to help you get out. Because a conference without Grizz, it's just always missing something.
No.
You need the witch doctor to come out from the wilderness every once in a while and come into the village and do a few dances, right?
It's good. It's good that Grizz isn't on the stream right now, because I've been when Grizz first started coming to conferences, he was sort of like a nervous cat who'd kind of walk in the room and then he'd walk out, and he wouldn't stay for very long. But he's getting more comfortable with us now, and he's sitting down for the whole meal, and so it's been great.
I can relate to that.
Well, I'd love to hang out longer. I mean, I'm not saying we have to shut the stream down. You can keep going, Jeremy, if you want, but okay. I'm going to have to go. It's getting dark, and it's easier to throw my animals food and move them around in the light than doing it.
Well,
dark.
I want to maybe we could do a little exit, because you're all people that I admire and look up to and appreciate. And I'm in a new stage of my life right now. My youngest daughter just went to college. She started like 3 months ago. And we've had a pretty difficult marriage. Things have gotten a lot better since we started going to church and became Orthodox about 5 years ago. But there's a lot of difficult memories. And I would like to ask for each of you, if you could just take a couple of minutes. I would love to hear any advice or any practices or anything that you have to offer with regard to my life situation. Let's start with, whoever wants to start.
Well, my wife and I.
Before I say give any advice, I just want to say, who here has had a difficult marriage?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
There we go.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it.
There's a tiny group of people that don't, and I hate them. I don't really hate them, but there is a tiny group of people for whom marriage has been peaches and cream, but that's like 3%. Honestly, 3%.
Fair.
So,
well, the cops have shown up at my house more than once. So
we got peaches and cream, a different, yeah.
Not at my house, to the street where we were at the time.
Okay.
Outside of my house.
Okay, it's that kind of marriage problem.
Yeah.
Right. That was a whole new level.
Now, that was a while ago, but I'm just saying.
but let me, because my wife, I think, was nervous about the empty nest stage. And I wasn't, because I just talked in the randos today too. The guy was talking about his parents' marriage, and he said, once we all left maybe it wasn't that one, it was another one, but recently at randos, once we all left the house, my parents were like having a great time. The time that you are married with children in the home, statistically, is usually the hardest time in a marriage.
Yeah.
And I knew this. My wife didn't believe it. And then, now we've gone in and out of empty nesthood a few times now, and that's pretty normal too. But when we became empty nesters, she was nervous. And I said, honey, God, we can go out to eat more than we ever could, because we don't have to pay for all those kids at a restaurant. We would have movies. And I also knew, because for my wife and I, even when things were really tough in the marriage, vacations together were always good. Mm-hmm. And so once we became empty nesters, it wasn't very long, and she began to realize, oh, this is nice. And it was great. So chances are good. It'll be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Tracy, you want to say something?
Oh, no, go ahead, Shari. Yeah.
Well, was there any kind of, I'm wondering, so we do try to eat together still. We eat together more now probably than we did before, because there's less kid activities that are pulling us away.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if there's any kind, to me, that's a really important ritual. My father-in-law is from Turkey, and he came and lived with us at the end of his life, and he had been here for about a month, and he pulled me aside one time and he goes, "Can we talk man to man?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You need to eat with your family, and your family needs to eat with you every night, and if you don't, this is going to fall apart. You need to eat together." And I was like, okay. And we did sometimes, but he was like, "No, you need to. This is the most important ritual for your family."
Find some things that you and your wife really enjoy doing together. And that might take a little bit of experimentation. It might spend a little money, but I'll tell you, divorce costs a lot of money. And so doing some fun things together that cost a little bit of money is better than the big bill of divorce. So, my wife and I, we found so COVID hit. Well, then we had all kinds of kids in the house again. But one of the things that my wife and I did in COVID is we would just get in the car and we would just take day trips. We just drive for like 8-10 hours just out in the countryside. And that was, just really good for our marriage, because part of a difficult marriage is you become afraid of the marriage and nervous about the marriage, because you don't want the conflict and you don't want all of that. And so it's sort of like your body, and that the marriage sort of has to settle down. And at some point, you have to get secure in the marriage. So then when you do get a flare up, then it's like, hey, wait a minute. We've been good before. and it's also the case that at least one of you needs to sort of keep your head about things, because when the other one sort of goes off, you can't both go off, because then it gets really bad. So one
And
needs to
you
sort
generally don't. Like, you generally don't both go off at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like tennis, right?
So you probably got a little bit more money because you're not feeding kids at home. So spend some of that money in ways that you two have fun together and have a good time, because that's probably what you were doing when you fell in love, and, you know, have a little bit more sex now because kids aren't home, and, you know, just act a little bit more like you did before the kids were around, if you can.
Yeah.
That's good advice. That's good advice. That's helpful. I appreciate it. Your pastorness is coming out. I appreciate it. No, that's good pastoral advice.
I can relate to I actually think that the advice on vacations, it's true. Like when we go away, we usually really enjoy each other. It's just the stresses of home, right? And I've been feeling that lately, that we have an empty nest, but our nest is all around us. And I mean, my daughter had an emergency with her. She's got her 5th pregnancy. So I just had all the children for 2 nights, and I'm working full time and so, you know, we have an empty nest, but we're really busy and tons of commitments. And so when we just pack up and go somewhere together, it's a game changer. So I've been feeling that lately. Like, I think we just need to go somewhere. Just go visit some friends, just get out of the community. Just, it does change things for us. I mean, having a good marriage, oh Lord, 41 years. I think the main thing is I'm not going to give up. That's
You're 41? You're 41 years, Tracy?
41, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 37.
37, yeah. That's a long haul.
Yeah. I'm 39 years.
We just hit 23 about 2 weeks ago. So we're kids.
And, you know, we went to there was an old couple down the road from us when we first moved here 25 years ago. So they're gone now. Grandma and Grandpa Burns. And we went to their 70th wedding anniversary. It was, they're just like super rednecks, sitting out in a junkyard, like with a bunch of old vehicles and a bonfire. And, you know, the culmination was that they blew up a propane tank. With shotguns.
This sounds amazing. This is my kind of party.
You have to stand back. The other neighbor down the road, they had a gender reveal party and they blew up, I don't know, a case of dynamite. I thought there was an earthquake.
Pink or blue.
My horses were like, you know. But anyway, somebody asked Grandma and Grandpa Burns what the secret to a good marriage was. And he was going to say something, and she said, forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I thought, thank you, Mama. You said it.
Yep. Yeah. Walter Wangerin wrote a book on marriage, which my pastor did before I got married. We read that book together, and the book had 2 points. He could have made the one sheet of paper, and it says, you want to stay married, learn to forgive, and don't leave. I mean, really 2 really simple things.
You know what, Paul? My husband and I, when we got engaged, we were at this Bible school, and we were all, you know, in our heads, right? And at one point he said to me, I don't know if this is supposed to be, is this real? I mean, I'm from Switzerland, you're from Canada. We would have never met, you know, maybe we're not supposed, you know, you get all this supposed to meet, supposed to be married, soulmates, all this,
That's your Bible school.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then we went to the head of the school and asked if we could talk to him about this. And Charlie Fordham, he was kind of like Charlie Chaplin, actually. He was a pretty funny guy. And we sat down in front of him, and we're all serious, and we're like, well, here's our dilemma, you know, are we supposed to be married? You know, he looked at us and he goes, if you were the only 2 people on the face of the earth, would you make it work? And we're like, yeah. He goes, then make it work. We're done. And he opened the door, and that was it. And I never forgot it. And anytime I got into trouble, I was just like, okay, let's just pretend we're the only two people on the face of the earth. And we have to make it work.
Yeah.
And, you do.
Yeah.
You really do.
This is all very helpful wisdom. Thank you.
That was Charlie's wisdom. I can't claim that.
Yeah.
Charlie's wisdom to me. And I didn't always follow it. Like, my husband and I have been separated twice. And, once for a year and a half. And, I came back because I said to him, we'll revisit this on this day. On that day, I drove here because I wasn't here. He was here. And I said, do you want to get divorced? And he said, no. I said, oh, thank God, me either. I said, you know what? I couldn't imagine. All I kept thinking about was, what do we do with all our photographs?
I know.
That's all I kept thinking
I
about.
know.
Snip.
Stay in it for the photographs at least.
So we've been through rough times, right? But last night I got home from work and I told my wife, I'm like, I'm just going to go start a fire. Whatever you bring out for dinner would be great. If you don't bring anything, that's fine too. I don't care, but I'm going to go light up a fire. And I just lit up a fire by the fire pit, brought a lantern out there, and I was just sitting out there, and I set up a chair for her. And she put together a little quick dinner for us, and she came out. And we were sitting there, and we ate together, and we were mostly just sitting, not talking a lot. We talked a little bit. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful evening. It wasn't really cold. And then my daughter surprised us and came because my wife and her were going on vacation today. So my wife knew she was coming down. I didn't. So she came down and she came out and sat by the fire.
Nice.
We were just sitting there. And I said to them, I said, when I end up in a camp, this is the memory that's going to keep me alive right here. This is it. And all the other, and the concentration camp that I've already been through was worth it to get right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. My husband never takes me out for dinner, Jeremy. It's just not a thing that he does. And first of all, there really isn't anywhere to take me in this town. It's pathetic. And I'm a pretty good cook, and he just can't justify it. He's like, why do I have to eat that shit when Shari can make me really good food? So he just never does. And but usually every Sunday we make a fire, and that's what we call going out for dinner. We make a fire, we bring some food, and we keep it really simple. No dishes, no dessert. Like, I don't eat desserts and stuff like that anyway. So, and it's what holds us together is those Sundays around the bonfire. We do it in the winter. We do it all year. It totally holds us together.
I love that.
Yeah.
People's thinking about marriage and romance is sometimes just way too ambitious.
Yes.
A lot of marriage is very practical. And other things grow as time goes by between people, and other kinds of conviviality and commitment and contentment can grow. I remember talking to a woman who they had a disabled child. Then her husband got a DUI manslaughter, did some time in jail. And, she was just really thinking, do I want to, they were maybe at that point 10, 15 years into their marriage or something. And she's just really thinking, do I really want to go through with this? And then she eventually said, well, what really are my options? Start over with someone else. And there are reasons to divorce.
Yeah.
And, I've known a number of people with far better second marriages than first marriages. But the cost of not sticking in there and making it work is really high, especially if there are kids.
Mm-hmm.
And in the hard times, so we were in a neighborhood, and we had houses all around us of people who were sending all their kids to the same school. At first, my son went to that school, and then my wife taught in that school. So it was a big neighborhood. Every one of those no, that's not true. That one is still together. But boy, they were separated for like 5 years at one point. But the other two marriages broke up, and especially with the one family that we're probably closest to, I remember when, the wife just basically threw the marriage away. She basically says, I just don't want to be married to you anymore. And they were very new age. And so they were like, oh, well, we could be best friends even if we're not married. I was like, this is total bullshit.
You know what, Paul? I have got a story for you. There was a guy in our church in Switzerland. He was from Hungary. He married a Swiss lady. They had two beautiful girls, Naomi and Ruth. Wonderful Christian family. We spent quite a bit of time with them. And when the youngest turned 14, on her birthday, he stood up at the dinner table and he said, it's been great. I'm leaving. And he basically just planned that when the youngest was 14, he was going to leave.
Oh my God.
And, nobody saw it coming. They didn't even have a bad marriage. The wife was just totally blown away.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But that marriage I was telling you about, those kids, they were furious. And the parents were kind of blindsided by this and it's like, how could you be blindsided by this? You have those, Andrew Root wrote a really good book. His parents were divorced, and while he was engaged to the woman who would be his wife, her parents divorced, and wrote a really thoughtful book on the damage that divorce does. And all these kids were adult kids. They weren't even kids.
Yeah.
So, if you can make your marriage work and you've got kids,
so important.
Work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember one time, many times.
I'll be right back, you guys, just so you know.
We were having another rough patch. and I was contemplating, and I was thinking about things, and I said to the Lord, do I have to? Like, what if I don't push through this? Like, what are the options here? What if I say I can't do this anymore because what was happening was tough for me? And I heard really clearly, it was very kindly, actually. What I heard, whatever way I hear, was you can choose that road if you want to, and I'll be with you. But if you wait and push through this, there's something for you on the other side that you won't otherwise get if you opt out now.
Yeah.
And, when he talks that way to me, I'm like, I'm in it then. Yeah. Because if you said there's something in it for me that I won't otherwise get unless I stay, because what staying means is sacrifice.
Dying, yeah.
And sacrifice, there's no love without sacrifice. Right. And so that was, and that wasn't the only time, we've had 41 years. We have mad respect and love for each other to date. And we spend all our time together, all day. Like we live in the wilderness, but we have a community, and we're a unit. And I love that about us, but we've had those moments. And so that's what I think about is there's a level that I would miss if I exit now. I didn't feel condemnation in it. It was like, you can justify this in the way, your feelings and where you are, your threshold or whatever. But if you wait, there's something for you that if you push through that you wouldn't otherwise be able to experience.
Yeah.
And that's sacrifice. We talked about earlier about the fact that, I had an opportunity as a singer to do some bigger things and times in my life. And I had opportunities as a ventriloquist because I did stand up and I did some pretty big shows and I won some awards. And, but it didn't jive with who my husband and I were together. We're musicians. Actually, we do music together as well. But that road for me was, I couldn't take it. And that wasn't when I made that decision to stay. That was for marriage issues. But yeah, sometimes I think about that and I don't regret it. I don't, because there's something else on the other side of that when it comes to sacrifice. And I don't feel like I've given up a part of myself or I'm not who I should be and all that kind of stuff. I don't, because I really do. We both give each other permission to be who we feel that we are. And I love who he is and he respects and loves who I am. So, there's no quippy little cliches when it comes to stuff like this, but that one was what came to my mind.
Thank you. Yeah. I last night was just an example of like what you were talking about, where I'm so grateful that I and that my wife both decided to stay together, because there's no spontaneous coming together if you're divorced, right? There's not going to be that situation would never happen if I wasn't with her mother anymore. She might drop in at my house or she might drop in at her mother's house, but where we're all together and because we stayed together and because I actually am being domesticated and trained on how to be human by Christ and by the people in my parish, so now my daughter and I just have really beautiful conversations, like today, and a couple of days ago, or last weekend, she was visiting us and she just said, she's like, it's so funny. I'm doing things and I'm with my friends and I'm like, oh, my dad likes this and oh, my dad likes that. And oh, I'm acting just like my dad. And oh, wow, my dad would be doing this, or this is what my dad would say. I can hear you in my head. And she's like, I didn't know how much I was like you until I left, and I'm just like, this is what you're talking about, Tracy, where I don't have to even wait until heaven because I'm already in it. I'm in it now. When I like today, my daughter was just telling me about how she's more embodied now. She's studying to be an airplane mechanic. And so a lot of her schooling is actually in a metal shop with tools. And she loves it. And she's so healthy. Like she doesn't look at her phone all the time anymore. She's like, she walks to school and she doesn't wear headphones and she doesn't listen to, she just is there. And she was just sitting in the chair today, not her phone out. She was just sitting. I have never seen her do that. Like she's calming down and coming into herself, and to be able to witness it and participate in it and have these beautiful conversations with her. Our 5 years ago when I became Orthodox, our relationship was like strained at best. I mean, she was 13, so
yeah,
there's all that. Right. But on top of that, things weren't great between her mother and I. And so that just added to the strain. And going through, it hasn't been, it's not like all of our problems stopped when we became Orthodox. It's kind of the opposite. It's like all the things you've been trying to hide just can't be hidden anymore. But all the frayed ends of the rope, either get burned off or weaved back into the rope. And but it's just been worth it. That's all I wanted to say, is that already I'm tasting what you're talking about, Tracy. The joy, the reward, the just true, like the joy of a father sitting and listening to his daughter, like tell him about her insight, right? I mean, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. And it was worth it. I would do it again. Beautiful. I would go through all of it again.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Well, I've got a council meeting tonight and a few things I have to do before it. So thank you all for live streaming and for letting me in the room.
It's great to see you.
It was really nice.
Yeah, you've christened our channel. Now it's official part of the TLC.
Well, and it's good. It's good. It's good to talk about marriage in this way too, because it's actually really hard to find people at our stage in marriage that can talk honestly about it, because there's a lot of real good reasons not to talk publicly about marriage when things are difficult, but that's the majority of the cases. And so to talk with honesty about it and to encourage people to say, yeah, I know it's hard. And when I say, yeah, no, it's hard, I mean, it can be really hard. It can be like the hardest thing you ever do. And I never, as a pastor even, I don't tell people they have to stay together necessarily. It's always on them, because to be married, you have to keep choosing to be married, and you have to choose not to leave, and you have to choose to forgive. You got to keep doing that. But I love what Tracy said that. And it's almost always the case that if you stick in there, there'll be good things. There'll be good things that come that you won't get any other way.
Well, it's a race. It's a race. And, there are moments in the race where you feel like, your legs are cramping up and you can't breathe and you want to give up. But when you cross that finish line, it was all worth it. Right. And I know Tracy said this to me many times, and it's something that I think about too, is we're at the stage in our marriage where we want to finish well.
Yeah.
We want to finish well. That's it. And, I think it was on our live stream last Tuesday, Jeremy, I was saying how some people think that marriage will solve their loneliness. And sometimes it just increases it a lot.
Oh, it's way lonelier being in a hard marriage. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a constant reminder of how disconnected you are, right? You can't avoid it. You can't ignore it. Because you live
well, and that's a whole rabbit hole,
moment.
right? I mean, we all have to go, but I mean, you think about the parallels between the body, the church, the bride, and Christ. I mean, we're looking at it's same.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna, that person's gonna reflect to you all your junk and your garbage, and and you're reflecting to them. And so what, it's like, how's it going to end? I always laugh because when we're at weddings and, and people our age and we're all crying at this wedding. I'll tell the bride and groom, we're not crying because we're happy for you. We're like, do they know what they're getting themselves in? We know what's coming.
Well, I'll real quick, Paul, I know you got to go. I just wanted to say at the very beginning when you were saying this is very practical and we could talk about it in the abstract, but that's not very useful. And I was remembering, like, I just listened to a priest who was talking today about the darkness of divinity. And the point he made was, he said, people think mysticism is like an LSD trip because unfortunately most people have had an LSD trip and that's what they're expecting. And he said, no, mysticism is loving someone who hates you. Mysticism is cooking a meal for someone out of love and they won't eat it. Or living with someone who can't stand you, and sometimes you can't stand them either. That's mysticism.
You know,
because you're dying and then you're suffering with Christ. And that, he's like, that's theology.
Well, and
You want to know what theology is? It's that you
was my
suffer with
point,
Christ,
Jeremy, in that when you, instead of doing that other thing, you choose to follow through and see what he was. That was what I felt in my spirit was I have something more that you would not otherwise experience. It wasn't so much there's more as in you're going to have a lovely marriage,
right?
But there's more in what understanding that level of sacrifice, what love is. And so that's kind of, for me, I mean, my payoff is I have my best friend, but there's still more. There's more.
Well, that was your Garden of Gethsemane, right? If it's possible, let this cup pass from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And God said, "Oh, it's possible."
Mm-hmm.
Can I just close this out with a little reading?
Do it, Shari. Bedtime.
That'd be a good way to end it, and then we can go. Yeah. Thank you. But first, let me thank all of you for joining us. Thank the people.
Thanks
in the
for
audience
inviting me on, Shari.
Thanks for coming on, Tracy. I'm sorry to hop in. This changed like a very different thing.
No, it's fantastic. I love
it. And thanks for joining us.
Ventriloquism and marriage, it's the same thing. It's a comedy of errors.
Which one's the puppet?
They take turns.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My husband, he always says, it's illusion. My husband always says, I'm too stupid to be her dummy.
Okay, so I was out at my tent and I just wrote some thoughts down. And I think this fits with the marriage thing. I said, I cut wood today, would still be cutting, but my chain is loose and I don't know how to tighten it. I need my husband. And that is an understatement. Each day that passes since his near-death experience is a miracle to me. I begged God to give him back, not because I would be lost without him, but because we have unfinished business. We aren't done yet. There is so much open-ended, unresolved stuff that needs closure. I need closure. I need him to know that he is my everything. And every time I tried to live without him, I was simply a ghost of myself. We are together, making each other. And oddly, as the togetherness grows into a solid bond, the aloneness grows too. But isn't that how we found each other? We found the other alone. Himself, herself. We are returning to that. And the stranger I met and fell in love with becomes the stranger I am in love with now. It is an alpha and omega moment, a beginning and an end, and they are reflections of themselves. The end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end.
What? Mic drop?
That's really amazing.
Wow, I want a copy of that. I wish you were my sister.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. And thanks for being with us and watching. Love you all.
Thanks for the wisdom.
Love you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.